Welcome to the League of Melanated Gentlemen podcast. My name is Spencer, and I'm one of your hosts on this podcast. And today I'm joined by the other two members of the League of Melanated Gentlemen who have come here to give you an MCU review.
Yes, sir. This is Brandon.
And I'm Jordan.
Now, I know you have opinions, I know you have feelings, I know you have things to say. And there are some places where you can tell us all about that. And Jordan's going to tell you all about those places.
Yeah, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. We are all at the League of Melanated Gentlemen podcast. That's where you can find all our amazing episodes. That's where you can find all of our camaraderie. That's where you can just find us all at. Talk to us. Let us know how you feel. Don't forget to rate and review us on any of the streaming services that you use. You know, whether it be Apple or Spotify. I feel like those numbers ain't moved in a little bit. So I'm gonna need them reviews to kind of get up a little bit. But yeah, and then of course schedule updates. Episodes drop on Mondays, and then on Tuesdays we have LMG presents Marvel Multiverse RPG. That is the what is it? Marvel role playing game that we play here. And the group, they're on the way to convention center. They had a new member join them, Fireboy. So be sure and check out those episodes. And then we have Wrestling with Worldwide Willis. That is Brandon's wrestling podcast where he talks all of the world of wrestling. Brandon, what's going on in the world?
And we just had Crown Jewel. So a lot of ramifications from that, from being over in Saudi. And so yeah, and then we're heading into Survivor Series.
So yeah, don't forget to check that out. And then of course we have DC Animation with Spenser and Friends. That is Spencer's review podcast where he is going through the entirety of the DC animated universe. Spencer, what is next on the list?
This week we are reviewing Batman: Mystery of the Batwoman.
Ooh, that is one I do not know. So be sure and check that one out. Whether it's on some streaming service or you got to rent it, be sure and check out that review as well as all of the other ones. And yeah, that's everything we got.
Okay. Okay. Now, we do have a review for you. I will go ahead and have Libra run the spoiler warning now because we're going to talk about a couple things. So, Libra, please.
Excuse me, gentlemen, but there is a strange phenomenon happening. I think it's a spoiler. Proceed with caution.
And with that out of the way, first, I guess there were some trailers or something.
Yeah, so of
Yep.
course, if you could tell by the title, Agatha All Along, around episode 7 is when they kind of did a little snippet teaser of kind of all the upcoming projects that they have kind of for Disney Plus. First thing they showed off, some of the trailers that they showed off, What If Season 3. So we do know that is coming, and that is coming at the end of the year. I think it's Christmas is when it's coming out.
Mhm.
They showed a couple different what if things. I couldn't necessarily tell what it was, but I am curious to see how they go because I think we talked about it. Season 2 wasn't all that. Couple good episodes, but
Yeah.
wasn't all that.
Apparently the X-Men are going to be in this. So that's kind of what a lot of people are excited about, but we shall see.
I mean, it's gonna be like what if the X-Men came to the MCU?
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see. But yeah, the fact that they have them is big.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. And I'm sure we will review that one as that one comes out. And then of course, not of course, but they also showed off Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which is the new Spider-Man animated series. Um, Brennan, did you watch any of these trailers? I know Spencer didn't. Did you end up catching any of these?
I didn't watch fully. I just knew what was coming out. I didn't want to be overexposed to anything, so I kind of was just aware of what it was, but I didn't watch them.
Okay. I I watched the trailers for each one of these, and I will say I am not feeling the art style, the animation style of this new Spider-Man. I am not a fan of it so far.
What would you compare it to for those that don't know?
Um, it's kind of tough. Like it's almost like I guess if you understand animation, a lot of cartoons these days have the thick black line of the outsiding, like the outside lining with the character. And I didn't necessarily. I think that black line is too thick for me personally. It's a little weird. It's a weird nitpick, but it just makes the entire animation style look weird. It almost looks like a 3D, 2D type
Is it?
animation.
So that sounds like What If style, right?
Yeah, but what if tried to do like almost computer graphics almost? I feel like
Got it. Okay.
some episodes I feel like they try to do computer graphics, I should say. This one is like they did 2D, 3D animation on a 2D plane. I don't know, it's very weird.
I think I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to think of an example, but I think I know what you're talking about.
I just know a lot of new cartoons these days do it. And I guess they show a couple of characters who are gonna pop up. So Nico from the Runaways, she's gonna show up. Um, and there's going to be a new crush who isn't Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy. We're going to have Artemis Cho, who is one of the Hulks, and then there's going to be a Wakandan exchange student showing up, um, and then Daredevil, I think, showing up as well. So there's going to be another young Peter Parker, and then actually the creators of or the executive producers and head writers, is the same person who did Craig of the Creek, which is a Nickelodeon show I ended up watching with my kids.
Pretty sure Craig of the Creek's on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, it is. So that one is going to come out next year. We'll see how it is. I think they
Mm.
showed just the same uh Brave New World stuff that they showed. They did show a new trailer or more footage from Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah,
And I will say that one is looking really good. I'm looking forward to seeing this one.
yeah, I agree.
Wilson Fisk, he's going to take over as mayor, which he was already teasing at the end of what's that show with the girl?
Echo.
Mm,
Echo, yeah.
the girl's crazy.
They showed actual footage from Ironheart, which comes out next year. Um, Curious to see how this one's gonna go. They do have a guy in it who I do not like him as an actor. He plays the same person every single time. And reading this article, I didn't realize that's who he's gonna be. But Anthony Ramos, do you guys know who he is?
I do.
But give me a
Uh
example.
He he was in the recent Transformers Rise of the Beasts.
yeah,
Oh, that guy.
The
Yeah,
dude
I'll
with the
be
freckles.
not his biggest fan. Yeah,
using Twisters, I heard as well. He plays the
it
same
wasn't
character for
Twisters.
me.
He
Like
literally was the same guy. Yeah,
he's always like some New York dude, always rocking Jordans all the time. Like
yeah.
it's,
He was kind of the same in Twisters. I will say for Ironheart, I have a little more trust in it because Ryan Coogler was involved, and just from the photos I've seen, the suit don't look bad. The suit is kind of comic accurate. So
yeah,
I'm like,
and it is the first suit, of course, that she
yeah,
built by her hands. So it's gonna look a little rough, just like Iron Man's did.
yeah. But it
So
looks like it did in the comic book, which I'm happy. I didn't like the Black
oh, the
Panther.
Black Panther one,
Yeah, I
yeah,
didn't like that one. I didn't like that one at all.
yeah. So
That one was just for toys.
Yeah,
oh, 100%. But you're all right. Ryan Coogler does have this one in his hands, so I kind of trust him with this.
same.
I'm curious to see if they're going to lean into more of the Black Panther stuff. They did, I think, if I remember right, in the trailer, they did show a little bit. Oh, they talked about her time in Wakanda as well.
Oh yeah,
But I don't want to spoil who Anthony Ramos is if people don't want to know. But I didn't even realize that's who this guy's going to be. And then they just talked about Fantastic Four a little bit more. They also showed just barely a little bit of footage of Eyes of Wakanda, which
mm.
comes out next year, which also will be another animated series from or on Disney Plus. So,
I wish this was live action, but it's fine.
and according to this Variety, um, website, they're supposed to bring in Iron Fist. So,
Oh yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah, that's again, like it's not wrong with this being animated, but like with the caliber of actors we had in the Wakandan universe, it'd be nice to see it live action.
yeah, I agree. I agree. They showed off Marvel Zombies, which is another animated series. They're leaning real heavy into the animation this upcoming years. But this one looks,
It's because it's been really successful with DC. So,
and I'm sure X-Men also helped out with that as well. But the Marvel Zombies animation style definitely reminds me of What If. So we will see what happens there.
Well, since there was a zombies episode of What If, I assumed it was going to be in the What If style.
Yeah,
Hmm.
true. Uh, they also showed off Wonder Man, which we have heard very little about.
Yeah.
There was a quick, probably like 20-second clip of that. Oh boy from what's his name? I don't know how to say his name, but the dude from
The
Aquaman.
one from
Boogeyman.
Watchmen,
Not Boogeyman.
Yeah, yeah, the dude from
Candyman.
Watchmen.
Candyman. Yeah.
Yeah, Abdul Mateen. I don't know his first name. For his first name, Yahweh maybe.
He was
Um,
Black Manta too, right?
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
So he is going to be in. They showed him quick, and they seem like they're doing this real different. He looks like he's an actor who is playing whoever Wonder Man is going to be, because they refer to him as, he's like, oh, okay, you're going to play Wonder Man, and it looks like a movie set. So, and they
Mm.
also have the dude who played he was in Shang-Chi, the Mandarin. Remember, he's the fake Mandarin.
Oh, okay.
He's
Ben Kingsley.
Yeah,
That
he's
who it is?
Yeah.
also in the movie. Oh, in this TV show. So
Him being an actor, that makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we are
Hmm.
going to see what happens from there, and then I believe that was everything. They did tell us. Well, this came afterwards, but we do know there's a Spider-Man 4 coming out,
Yeah.
and Tom Holland will be in it.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
yeah, that's
Sound,
everything.
it sounds like there will be many things to review.
Yeah. It sounds like at least Marvel has some sort of plan, at least.
Yeah,
Um,
you remember how they said, they wasn't going to have more than 2 or 3 projects coming out a year? Like they were
yeah.
going to slow down. Yeah, I think they lied about that.
Well, and I think their excuse is going to be half of it's animated, so it's not
Yeah.
the
Oh,
same.
good point.
Yeah. But I do like that they're leaning into animation. I like it. I just want them to be strategic about it. Like, don't just be like, because Eyes of Wakanda was supposed
Well,
to be live action at first,
they
but
think they
then
are being strategic about it.
right, but Eyes of Wakanda was supposed to be live action, but then all these other shows sucked. So then they were like, all right, let's go a little safer route with animation, which I think is still going to be good. And I think most of this stuff will be good. Now, zombies, I'm not into it, but I can see it being good. Uh, but I just want them to be like, not just be like, all right, something we kind of want the back burner, animated. You know what I mean? Hope they kind of keep, if they want to highlight something big, if they want to do it animated, do that. But just don't lessen it, I guess, which some people end up doing.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't like that animation is viewed as a lesser medium, but as far as like coordinating schedules, animation is a lot easier because you just got to get somebody in a booth
Right. Yeah.
as opposed to having everybody, in person at the same time to do stuff.
Right.
Yeah. I will say, I do hope Moon Knight, I hope he shows up in Daredevil, just because they're going to be back in New York, but I don't know if he will or not.
That'd be good for him. He need a little need some playing time, man.
Yeah. And I was hoping that we wouldn't see Iron Fist until a Shang-Chi 2, but who knows?
Yeah, that would be nice. That'd be smart, I guess.
But okay. So another thing, we talked about stuff that's going to happen, but something that did happen, Sony put out Venom: The Last Dance, which is the third in the Venom franchise, I guess,
Mm.
if you want to call it that. And I saw that movie today, and I didn't hate it. I
All right.
was fully prepared to hate it.
Yeah.
I walked in under the impression I was like, this movie's going to be fucking trash, but I have to know that for myself. And I'm glad I went to see it because I know for myself that it wasn't.
It's
It
good.
was way better than the second movie and maybe better than the first one. I'd have to watch the first one again,
Oh, wow.
but
Okay.
this movie wasn't terrible. Um, and I was worried because we already issued the spoiler warning, so it's whatever. Null is in it,
Yeah.
but barely.
Really?
Like,
So they kind of teased him a lot, and he's brilliant.
yeah, Null is at the beginning, and then Null does not do anything in the movie. I'll say that. Null is mentioned, referenced, brought up, named, but he doesn't do anything because the movie is about him being locked up and his creatures trying to get him out.
Hmm.
So they do the whole like my symbiotes staged a coup against me and they locked me up and the only way to get me out is with the Codex, and so he, sends some creatures out to find it, and that happens to
Hmm.
be Venom. So, um I think that this movie did less comedy than the second one did, which was a good move. There was still some comedy. Like Venom was like they still did that same flavor of Venom where like the symbiote was supposed to be comedic, and that didn't hit every time. Matter of
Hmm.
fact, it missed far more than it hit.
Oh boy.
But again, they did it a lot less than they did in the second movie. Like in the second movie, it was egregious.
Right.
In
Right.
this, they leaned on it a little more than they should have, but it wasn't terrible.
Gotcha.
One of the things that bothered me, and maybe this is just that maybe I shouldn't be bothered, but this was like, have we run out of actors? Because Mordo is in this movie as like a military dude,
I heard
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I'm like, Venom, weren't you just in 616? Like
Yeah.
at one point, like you were in 616. So why is Mordo just okay? Okay, yeah, whatever. We've run out of actors. That's fine.
That's interesting that they chose to go with him.
Because again, you just pick anyone that's not already in the MCU.
Like literally anyone.
But
Yeah.
they've run out of actors, I guess, because yeah, it was definitely him, and he was not related to Doctor Strange in the slightest.
Yeah.
So do
Yes.
in the movie do they mention any other heroes or anything, any Spider-Man villains, Craven or anything?
No, it's mostly just a bunch of unnamed symbiotes that are kind of in it, but I don't recall any other Spider-Man characters being referenced at all.
So I assume it was like Toxin and Scream. Oh wait, they was in the other ones, right? Scream.
Again, they were just
Yeah.
unnamed in
Well,
this movie.
so they all, well, I say all. Like there's some that I've seen not reviews, but I saw trailers of some of them that have specific names. I just don't remember them off top. It's like four of them. That
Well,
specific
that's
name.
I was the only ones I remember is Toxic, which is I think the purple one. Scream is the yellow one. Anti-Venom is the white one.
Yeah.
I don't remember any
Yeah.
other ones outside of that.
But I am encouraged to hear, obviously I haven't seen it. I am encouraged to hear Noel didn't wasn't as active in it. That was my issue. My issue was the fact that they were using Noel in general, just
Hmm.
because I don't think Sony knows what they're doing. And Noel is a like Noel when he was introduced in the comics, like was a major hit. So like to then use him, shuffle him into this franchise that
Already.
yeah, and just feels like this wasn't an earned Venom. Like this franchise, I'll be honest, I haven't watched the second one. I won't watch this one. I've kind of boycotted it just because how they've treated Venom. But
Yeah, don't watch the second one. The second one is really bad.
yeah, but if they kind of continue this into sort of building him for maybe potentially, I don't think he'll be in anything related to Spider-Man 4 or anything. But as a future villain, okay, like now we're talking. But
So, two questions. What was the end credit scene?
Um, the let's see, the mid-credit scene. I'm sorry, it's all running together. I feel like the scenes they were short and like weren't super important. Like I kind of walked out like, oh, I stayed for that. Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
But
Mhm.
I think that Noel does have a sword, and you know what
Yeah,
that means.
yeah,
Okay.
But yeah, the end credit scene was there was a scene in a bar, and a dude from the bar like gets taken to the Area 51, and the one of the end credit scenes is basically like him walking out because there was an explosion, and there was a piece of Venom that was left behind at the bar that got uh captured by the military, and we just see that that vial is broken. So that piece of
Mm.
venom is loose, is the running theory.
The
So,
oh, go ahead,
oh
Brandon.
no, go ahead. Yeah, just other
Well,
question. Go ahead.
I was going to ask, does Eddie Brock die or anything?
Venom dies.
Yeah, that's comic. Well, that's kind of comic accurate for the
Oh,
most
so
part.
then he probably gonna come back as anti Venom. Is that when Venom come back?
Well, I think a new symbiote takes the Venom tag, but yeah, that's pretty
Oh,
accurate to kill. Yeah, and wait, does Eddie Brock have a son in this?
No, at
Okay,
least as far as we know, he does not have a son.
gotcha. Because in the comics, he has a son, and his son is the reason he can kill Null. But I did hear that Sony is working on an Agent Venom with Flash Thompson.
that's what I
So
was going to. Is Flash? I wonder if he was gonna take it over.
yeah, um, he takes it over. I don't love that version of Venom, but he is kind of cool.
I
He
think he
looks
looks
different.
cool. Yeah, I think he
Yeah,
looks cool.
but they're working on a movie for that potentially, which I don't know if it deserves it. It doesn't deserve a movie, but it's fun. Sony's kind of throwing. Apparently, Sony's doing a Spider-Man noir movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that.
I was like, bro, y'all throwing money out a
And
window.
actually they got this thing going because we've already seen screenshots of it.
Yeah, I was just like, bro,
I I don't like that Sony is just using all of the Into the Spider-Verse money to do these fucking projects that
bro.
are not worth anyone, that nobody asked for.
I
This
know,
is, bro. This is what I mean with these man. Bro, they're pimping out. They're pimping
bro.
out Spider-Man, bro.
We literally have Miles Morales right there, but they're like, no, we don't need that. Let's go get Spider-Man Noir. Like, bro, Miles is right there, but I also don't want y'all to trick off Miles.
And that's
Yeah,
what I was going to say is I feel like they know these are shitty. And so if they put Miles in a shitty situation, it's going to be over. So they got to be real careful with Miles.
Yeah, they're gonna give it to the MCU.
They don't have to be careful with all these other because we're not worried about any of these other fucking people.
bro.
So
I
they're I think they're just throwing shit at the wall, and if something sticks, cool. Like the first Venom didn't do terrible, so they were like, "All right, we gonna run that into the ground."
yeah, facts. Yeah, I low key wonder like Sony's rights to Spider-Man. Like, I wonder when that ends because like it could low key feel like they like, hey man, empty the clip until 2028 or whatever. Like,
Yep, let's get everything out before we
yeah,
lose them.
if you have an idea, we're making a movie. I don't care what it is. We're getting every drop out of this man we can get. Like, I don't know. Like,
Uh,
I don't know.
Spencer, by the look of the movie, do you think there will be a fourth one?
No,
Okay.
I'd be surprised if there was a fourth one. I mean, this one is called The Last Dance, and so I don't know if this is a situation where they make a new movie or they just fold this into something else.
I think folded into something.
Because I'm remembering Venom left a little piece of symbiote behind
In the
in
second movie.
six, yeah, in 616.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So and yeah, so who knows?
I could, now that I think about it, I think I could see the MCU taking that and using Flash Thompson or Eddie Brock's son, whatever version, and then not even going to Eddie. MCU, they'll go left when they should probably go right. They'll just be
Mhm.
like, yeah, we'll just act like Eddie Brock didn't exist. Use Flash Thompson as our Venom in this universe.
Oh yeah, good point. They could, yeah.
Yeah, Eddie could just be the Sony universe, which sucks, but it is what it
And
is.
if they do that, I feel like Flash in the MCU is the little is the little guy.
Yeah, they gotta. Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, and I'm like,
He ain't a
I
believable. Yeah, I ain't scared of that
yeah, I
guy.
don't think you need to be Flash, but
Yeah,
whatever.
I agree.
That
It's
was an
just
example of them going left when it's like you could have gone right.
yeah. Let's go get the big white guy. It's fine. No one will
Yeah,
be
like it's
offended.
okay.
Yeah,
Even if you got a big Indian dude, that's fine.
facts. Yeah,
Like his name is Flash. That's a nickname. Anybody could be named Flash. So
facts.
yeah, but whatever. Um, Jordan, are the Rotten Tomato? Could you pull the Rotten Tomatoes up?
I already have them pulled up.
Okay.
What are you thinking for the audience score?
I I think it should be in like the 50s, but I have heard people shitting, or I've heard the internet is shitting on this movie, so I'm gonna be like 39.
When did this movie come out? Was it this
Ooh,
weekend
I
or
think
last weekend?
it was 2 weekends ago,
Okay.
I
maybe.
think it was two. Yeah.
Okay. So as of this recording, has 176 reviews. It is currently sitting at a 39%.
Oh, hey!
That was perfect. Look at that. You don't get that too often.
No,
Wow.
I try for it.
Now, what do you think the critic score is?
Um, it's a superhero movie, and critics, have feelings about that. I will go 36.
The audience score, 2,500 plus verified reviews. They're sitting at 81%.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
Wait, did you mix up critics and audience?
Oh, what did I say?
You just asked me for the critic score.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So the audience score is 81 and the
Yeah,
critic score is
sorry.
39.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay.
That,
Okay.
that sort of makes sense. I will say, and I've said it before, to me, this franchise represents the 90s version of Venom. A little less sophisticated, really fun, you know, to play with. Whereas the Donny Cates version is like way more thought out and like really legitimately, complicated. So that makes sense. I bet it was a fun movie, like Spencer said, but it was enjoyable at least.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't bad. But again, I think that I enjoyed it because I planned on hating it.
Gotcha.
So this
Gotcha.
was an expectation situation. Like if I went in blind, I probably would have been like, that movie was not great, but it wasn't terrible. But because I went in thinking it's going to be trash, I was like, it wasn't bad.
They didn't
Gotcha.
mention Carnage at all.
No,
No
and good.
reference. Okay, I was just curious. I'm gonna check it out whenever it comes to streaming services.
Yeah, don't
But
spend money on it.
I'm definitely not dropping the money on it though.
But yeah, like less bad than I planned for it to be.
I might actually, Spencer, you might have got me to, if it's a rough day, I
Again,
might go check it out.
don't go out of your way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like if it's on, like FX,
Yeah.
FX will find it.
This is sad that Spencer, you went to go see this movie, and none of us have still watched Aquaman 2.
You're right.
That is true.
And that's their fault for putting it out on Christmas. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe one of these days we'll have to do a flashback review and check out Aquaman 2.
I'm down
Okay.
with that.
So,
Now that one I'm sure is on Max,
Oh yeah, for
I'm,
sure.
I'm sure it's
but
on Tubi by this point too.
I need
It
to
didn't
actually
do that
check
bad.
Tubi. I bet some of my animated films are on Tubi.
I bet
Or,
you
or
so.
that or Freevee. Yeah, Freevee.
Yeah, I'm sure some of them are on there. But anyway, the reason we are here to talk about Agatha All Along, the newest MCU Disney Plus hotness. It is complete just in time for, the spooky season to end.
Hmm.
And so we're gonna talk about it. Now, we talked about episodes 1 and 2. And if you could go back and listen to that episode, if you want to hear us talk about 1 and 2, but today we're going to talk about the remaining episodes. So, as is usually the case, I will read a synopsis in my own words, and then we're just going to talk about it. So we will do that for each episode. So strap in. We may be here a minute. Episode 3. Through many miles of tricks and trials. We open on the road. The coven is discussing how to move forward and what awaits them. Sharon wanders off trying to find an escape and starts quicksanding into the road because then she's saved by the rest of the coven. Shortly thereafter, a house appears in the distance. They make their way to the house, and upon entering, there's a wardrobe change. The house invites them to the first trial, which involves wine. Jen warns the boy about Agatha mentioning that she traded her own son for the Book of the Damned, and we get a Mephisto name drop. They drink the wine, and a countdown starts. Sharon begins to swell and then realizes that the wine is poison. Jen is able to identify the poison as Aile's wife, and Agatha didn't drink hers. The boy is able to convince Agatha to drink the wine, and everyone scrambles to get Jen the items that she needs to make an antidote. Shit starts getting weird, and the hallucinations start. But everyone makes it out, and they are able to build the concoction. Just as things are looking good with the antidote, Agatha's hallucination starts. After coming out of it, they are able to get the potion right, drink it before the timer goes off. The oven opens up and everyone is able to escape the flood that starts to begin in the house. And they end up back on the road to find Sharon has died.
Mm.
All right. Let's just talk about episode 3. So I I needed to read that because it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Forgot about Sharon.
Yeah, very. I don't even know why she was on the road. I thought she was gonna have a. I thought something she was gonna come back or something, but no, I don't know why
So
she went.
I mean, she went because Agatha's not a great person, and Agatha has no issues sacrificing anyone. And so at this point, we are led to believe that Rio should be the other witch that's involved. But Agatha was very adamantly against Rio being involved, which is why she just needed a fifth body
Right.
because of the harmonies that were required. And so also, Agatha wasn't under the impression that the road was real. And so Sharon being there didn't matter to her. Again, Sharon was just a warm body until she wasn't.
Yeah, but with the whole show's knowledge, she really had no reason to be there because Agatha brought all of them together to steal their power. But with Sharon being there, I don't think she would have been able to kill Sharon. So Sharon would have just been just there, right?
Well, killing Sharon wouldn't, she would have been able to kill Sharon once she got powers to
And the
steal.
others.
But again, the reason Sharon was there was because of the
They just
uh,
needed another.
they needed a fifth person because the whole like everybody knows about the road. The road is, this urban legend. And since everybody knows the story, since the witches involved know that there have to be a certain number of people, they again, Agatha just needed a warm body because Agatha told them, "Hey, Sharon's a witch," which obviously she wasn't. So Sharon was just a part of the ruse.
Yeah, but did they need that many? Because if you look at the last episode with Agatha, there was a couple of those scenes. She only had like three witches
No, I think she
singing
had
song.
5 every time.
Was it five every single time? I might have to.
Uh,
I
Like
might have to
it
go and
I
was
feel
check. I
like
thought
it
one
was
time
her
she
and
had three.
4.
okay, maybe that's what it was. I feel like she always had 4 or less other people, but I think it might have been right at 4.
I remember it being 5 because I feel like they were in the form of a pentagram.
Mm-hmm.
And then she always had like 4 beams on her whenever she was, Shang Tsuning these women.
Yeah.
But
Gotcha.
I think that's why Sharon was there. Sharon was there because if Sharon wasn't there, because in the earlier episodes they discussed like we need a green witch, we need a potion witch. Like they were discussing the types of witches they needed. And so I think that's why they specifically needed a number.
Right. Right.
So that's why Sharon was there. And again, Agatha wasn't worried about sacrificing Sharon. If Agatha was able to successfully steal her powers and then Sharon was like, what the fuck? Then she would just be like, oh, you can get some too. And then
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
killed her, without the Shang Tsung treatment.
Gotcha. Okay. I will say this episode was a little spooky. I think this is the one I was watching at nighttime. I was like, was this the one where they get the what's that thing called? You move and supposed to talk to the dead and all that?
Oh, the Ouija board? That's not the Ouija board episode.
Oh,
No, that's
okay.
not that
Oh,
one.
okay, okay. I was about to say either way it go, they did have a creepy scene in this one when everybody's like hallucinating.
Yeah, the
Mm.
hallucinations were, I think, the part that was rough in this one. So they're on the road and they're discussing what they're going to do, and Sharon is trying to find her way out, and then she just starts like the road turns into quicksand and she's just being absorbed.
Yeah.
And Luckily, she's able to be saved by the coven, and then they see the house. And so now it's time for the first trial. And what I thought was funny was that whenever they drank the wine, it like had a Botox reaction.
Oh yeah. I saw that. That was
And
kind of creepy too.
Botox is poison.
Right.
So I thought that was funny that like
Yeah.
the they drank a poison and then it had the same effect on them that poison does because Botox is in fact poison.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we can really kind of okay, so first thing I want to talk about is we don't know that it's Billy yet, but Jen pulls Billy aside and is like, "Hey, you don't need to you need to be careful with Agatha
Right.
because she sacrificed her son to get the Book of the Damned. And that's not a good look."
Yeah.
And
Which.
yeah, he was kind of like, I'm still gonna I'm still gonna move forward,
You
I,
ain't worry about her.
yeah, I need to see that for myself. But
Right.
it's whatever. And again, there's a Mephisto name drop, and so I'm sure that people who were like, "Oh, we're gonna see Mephisto in the end," it
Yeah.
Yeah.
never came back up.
It's so funny because remember all that before. It's like, oh, it's everything is Mephisto. Everything leads back to Mephisto.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Venom.
I wonder if I wonder if the like Kevin Feige's doing it on purpose.
I mean, at this point, he had to. Because I mean, for a while there, it was hilarious because it was like WandaVision, everything was Mephisto. Like it was a couple shows where it was just, everything was Mephisto, and then we got away from it for a while, and
Yeah.
then we had
But
to get it back.
now that he's been name dropped, we know he exists.
That's true. That's true. And this is the type of show you would expect
Oh yeah,
a Mephisto to pop up in if he was gonna. Obviously, I think he's more a movie show up type of guy, but it is good
he's
to
got to
see
be.
that we got got a little sprinkle, little breadcrumbs.
I feel
Yeah,
like you
if
could show him a TV show. It'll be more of like him in like a suit, like looking like a normal human, but like in the movie, you gotta really overdo him.
no,
Yeah,
I
that's true.
if we see him, I need it to be in a movie. Like if I
Yeah,
lay eyes on Mephisto, like if he is cast, I would like it to be in a movie.
Nah,
Uh,
that should be that one dude. The black dude. He was in Breaking Bad. Gus,
oh, yeah, Giancarlo.
dude, he needs to be Mephisto.
I love Giancarlo. He can do whatever he
he
wants.
is good. Yeah, let's say it's hard to argue against him. So
Yeah,
I get that.
he'd be great. And
Yeah,
again, you can cast him as anybody. He'll be great.
but I will say he's
We'll keep
in
him a villain.
Brave and the Bold, so it can't be him. I mean, not Brave and the Bold. Brave New World.
Oh yeah. He is. I
Oh,
forgot about that. My
Yeah,
bad.
I didn't know that. But good. I didn't know that. So, um, countdown starts and we see the poison taking effect. And of course, Agatha knew it was poison. So she doesn't take it because she's slimy.
right.
And everybody's like, "Nah, bitch, take it. That's the challenge. That's the game. That's what we're doing." So now I'm gonna need you to go ahead and do that.
Yeah,
So everybody swells up and then they're fine, and then everybody, has a hallucination, kind of like a worst fear situation. And through these, we learn a little bit about some of the people. So Sharon sees Wanda, because of course that's her biggest trauma and fear. Alice sees her mother, which we'll kind of learn about later. Jen sees the doctor that bound her,
Boundary. Yeah,
and Lilia sees her ancestors. At least that's what it looked like. I'm not
Yeah,
100% sure what Lilia's situation was, but it looked to me like she saw her ancestors.
yeah,
So cool. Um, and one of the things that's also interesting is, Agatha is talking a big game, but this episode made it clear that like she's never actually been on the road. Now, of course, we don't really know much yet, but we assume that Agatha has been on the road before, and that's what the boy assumes,
right.
is that she knows about this, she's played this game, like this is what she does. And in this episode, we're like, I think you've been on the road before. Like this is
Yeah.
new to you. You don't exactly know what's going on here.
Hmm.
And so Everybody has hallucinations. Jen is able to identify the poison, build up a concoction for it. They're all able to take it, except for um, Sharon. And then they get out, and Sharon's dead.
R.I.P.
One thing that also I put in my notes is that while we didn't see Mephisto, Billy didn't seem bothered by Mephisto coming up. Like he was just kind of like, huh.
He probably didn't even know who he was. If you're like, I don't
And
know
the,
why he would know who he is.
and now I I I think that's what it was. But like when I watched episode three, I was like, you doing a lot of studying, you doing a lot, you trying to know a bunch of shit, and you just unbothered by Mephisto's name
Yeah,
because Mephisto's a heavy hitter in this game.
yeah, that's true. He
Eh,
is like the end all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so for you to be unfazed by the mention of his name is either because you're in league or you don't really know anything, and that's above your pay grade right now.
Right. Yeah. I think that's
So,
what it is.
but okay, okay. Do we remember how we feel about episode three? Do we like episode three?
I like what he did for the story, moving the story along, but wasn't the strongest episode. But I did like that we kind of got a nice little history of the other, like you said, with the hallucinations of the others. We kind of got to learn a little bit.
That
I like
is what I
I
was
liked all
thinking.
the episodes. I liked all the episodes, and to be honest with you, there might be a little foretelling of how I felt about the show, but I enjoyed episode 3.
Um, I think I agree. I like that this episode gave us some insight on everyone that was there because Agatha's hallucination was of a baby.
Right.
So yeah, it gave us a little bit of background on all of the people, and again, this was an episode that needed to happen.
Hmm.
So episode four, if I can't reach you, let my song teach you. We open with Sharon dead and a grave being dug. The coven needs a green witch, so they make moves to summon one. They end up summoning Rio. Agatha storms off, furious, and the coven makes their way down the road. A house appears that Alice has no interest in entering, but the road has decided. Upon entering, it's a 70s vibe. After tricking Rio into admitting that she wants to do the old double cross, which everyone hears, the boy starts a record that plays backwards, kicking off the timer for the trial. One by one, the coven starts burning Alice and uh, they cut a protection circle. Alice reveals that this is a generational curse, and she and her mom have been dealing with this, forever. They need to play Lorna's version of the ballad as it is a protection spell, so their way out of the curse, perhaps. As they get through the ballad, a demon appears, and Alice is able to finish it, but not before the boy is stabbed. Luckily, Jin is able to save him, and the coven shares stories by a campfire. When he wakes up, Agatha lets the boy know about the sigil and joins the coven at the campfire. Agatha and Rio have a moment together, and Rio tells her that the boy is not hers.
Mm.
So,
Yeah. This was a good one.
this was a good one. And in this one, this episode was, intentionally, it was a little confusing
Yeah. Yeah.
because whenever we see that they summon a witch and then it's Rio that shows up, and we remember earlier that Rio was definitely in the house and the witch that we thought was going to be the fifth one. And then Agatha was like, hell no, she ain't coming. And then she's the
Mhm.
one who ends up getting summoned. And the fact that Lilia wrote a black heart as the fifth player. And
Right.
we see that Rio earlier says that she has a black heart. Like so
Oh,
we're let
I didn't even put that together.
yeah, so
Yeah.
we're led here. We're
Yeah.
led to thinking like, oh, Rio was the obvious answer. That's who it was supposed to be. And
Right.
so later, when we find out who she is, I was like, what the fuck? But
Yeah, no, that was crazy.
Yeah, I
We'll
agree.
get
That
there.
reveal that
Yeah, we'll
that
get there.
reveal is crazy.
but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
So I knew in my heart that black heart referred to Rio,
Mm.
and now we kind of well, and yeah. Anyway, so Sharon's dead, and as they dig her grave, and they need a fifth person because that's just what we're doing here. And Agatha's furious because Agatha don't want to do Rio. Like, it's very clear that Jordan. You remember how you, or was it Jordan who was like, "No, there was no sexual tension." Was that you,
I don't even remember.
I want to say it was Jordan. Yeah, because I remember we was like, oh yeah, they definitely
Brandon? If
like
it wasn't
messing
you, it was
around.
Jordan. Yeah, Jordan.
Yeah,
You
it was
said,
definitely
"Yeah, I
Jordan.
didn't feel the sexual tension between them." I don't know how,
Yeah,
because
it's like
Yeah, if that was me, I was definitely wrong.
yeah, wrong as hell, and that's okay. We didn't
yeah,
know anything yet.
that's true. But I mean, you could tell, bro. You could
You
just
could
tell
tell. You could tell.
just the vibe they was giving
We
off.
we
Yeah,
knew. Yeah, like it
yeah,
was abundantly clear.
yeah. Because we were like, yeah, they know each other biblically.
They know each other
Uh,
biblically, and that's
yeah, like
and the Bible is very specifically
yeah,
against that. Um,
exactly.
there's another Bible thing that happens later that we're going to talk about, but and it's hilarious to me. But we're going to talk about it. So, um, they make their way to the house, and Alice sees the house, and Alice is like, "Hell no,
Yeah,
I ain't going in there. I've been there
right.
before. I absolutely not."
She started
And
walking the other way.
and the road is like, "No, you gonna come in here?
Yeah.
We doing this." And so they go in the house, and I love the wardrobe like across this show. Like
Yeah, wasn't it just
all the wardrobe changes through the decades and centuries. I loved all of it. Like whoever
same?
was in wardrobe, they need an Emmy.
I said I had a lot
Yeah,
of work to do too.
Yeah, because
ton of work.
again,
Actually,
they
speaking of work,
covered like 500 years worth of fashion.
and speaking of
Yeah,
wardrobe, I literally watched a video today about which I'm getting ahead of time, but Billy's cape. I literally watched the whole video on Billy's cape. It was so much that we didn't even see dealing with his
It
cape.
it was more it was cloak like in my like when I saw it. I was like,
Yeah,
that's
so
not just a cape, that's a cloak.
it has Wanda's sigils on it, and the inside is patchwork of Vision's, um, like his designs, Vision's designs. So it's like he always has his mother and father with him. I was like, bro, there's no way I would have been able to see that from the show.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's
that's
true.
you have to watch behind the scenes shit to know that.
Extras,
Like
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't just see that.
I literally just stumbled across. I was like, bro, there's no way I saw that.
yeah,
Yeah, nobody saw that. That's fine.
yeah. That's
So,
what's up.
um,
And this was 70s, right?
yes,
Was
this
it
Yeah.
is the 70s
75?
vibe.
Okay.
And so Agatha and Rio were talking, and Agatha, hits the speaker, hits the intercom, so that
Yeah,
they can all hear basically Rio say, "Yeah, I want to kill these hoes."
yeah. I want to get these bodies.
And then
Yeah,
Agatha's like, "Oh, gasp. We don't want her on the team because she's trying to kill y'all. So let's get rid of her.
Right.
We don't want her here." And it doesn't work. But because again, we need everybody here. We're all on the same team, kind of, trying to get through this shit.
Yeah.
And so Billy starts the record, and the timer starts for the trial. And then the coven starts just burning. Like
Yeah. While he's singing and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, it's not good. And so uh Alice cuts a protection spell, or cuts a circle for a protection spell, and then it's like, okay, I have a generational curse. And it's like, see, that's good shit. Not that you have a generational curse, but that we're discussing generational curses.
Yeah.
Because that's very much a thing, as far as I understand, that is involved with witch things and even biblical things. Like there are a lot of generational curses given in the Bible.
Yeah.
And with witches, you could safely assume that that's something that is, ongoing and rotating.
Hmm.
So, um, she
They started
discusses,
like cooking. That was kind of creepy too.
yeah, that version of the song was nice.
Oh yeah. No, that was low key a banger. And then when she got into it, it started going like Elton John on the piano. I was like, hey,
And that's the
Yeah.
thing, like there were no bad versions of the song.
no, it really wasn't.
Like
Like
every
the
time I heard it, I was
acapella was
like,
good.
yeah, like all of it was good. I was like, this song kind of fire,
Yeah,
but it's Disney, so
yeah,
the song gonna be fire.
that's true. That's true. But like they had the full band. They had Rhea on the drums. You know what I mean? Jennifer
Oh
on the
yeah,
bass.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was
and that demon was creepy. That
Yeah, that
oh
was
that
yeah,
yeah, that one I agree
oh
with that
yeah.
one.
I didn't like it,
I didn't like
but
that
that was the
one.
point.
No,
Like,
facts.
because yeah, when we finally saw it, I was like, ooh,
Yeah,
okay, all right.
yeah,
And so yeah, I'm glad that they were able to put that thing down.
yeah. Quickly, I was like, golly.
Yeah, now get rid of that.
Yeah, wings too. I was like, oh no, that's
Get rid
you trip.
of that. And so we see that they're able to get through it. Alice is able to kill it, destroy the generational curse, and then but oh no, Billy got stabbed.
hmm
And luckily, Jen is clutch. This is the second time Jen has saved the day.
Which
Yep.
actually, when we get towards the end, I found out who Jen is, and I had no idea who she is in the comics. But I'll bring it up
Mm.
later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. So yeah, Jen, really glad Jen is here. Jen is
Yeah,
pulling her weight.
facts.
If there are any questions about it, nah, Jen is doing exactly what Jen needs to do. Because again, Jen got us out of the first trial, and Jen saved the boy. And so,
hmm
campfire, telling stories, having a good time. And whenever he wakes up, um, Agatha tells him about the sigil and the whole fact that, like, no, whoever sets the sigil and whoever has the sigil has no record of the sigil. That's the whole thing about sigils. So you wouldn't know that you have it.
hmm
And so that answered my question earlier, because I feel like in the first two episodes, I was wondering, does he is he not able is no one able to hear him, or is it a
Oh
situation where like
yeah,
certain like I didn't know what the limitations were on the speak no evil.
right,
Yeah.
right, right.
And so I knew we'd find out, but yeah. But yeah, it's and so now we're like, oh my God, who put the sigil on him? Because it
Yeah,
and if Agatha knows that there's a sigil on him, I mean, I guess everybody knows there's a sigil, but like it's looking like Agatha's not the one who did it, but we don't really know.
yeah, exactly. It sounds like she doesn't know who did it, but she knows that. Yeah, it has to be. It can't. You can't just get rid of it. It has to be lifted off of him.
Also at the time, did she start kind of figuring out who he was? I can't remember. Was that the next episode?
The next episode is when she knew who he was.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
I will
Um,
say in this episode, you could tell she kind of cared about. I guess that's
oh
when
yeah,
I start to realize, oh, okay, she really cares about this kid for
yeah,
obviously her trauma and stuff.
yes, and yeah, that is this episode because whenever he is stabbed and then he wakes up, I think yeah, that's when we're like, oh, you're not as heartless when it comes to him as you
Right,
are anybody else,
right, right.
and so yeah, she is told by Rio like, hey, he ain't yours.
hmm
Don't forget,
I
he's
thought
not
they was gonna
yours.
get down in the woods there for a sec.
Yeah,
I
that would be
knew that
crazy.
if there was going to be anything between them, it was going to be late. Like I was like, they're not going to get it going this early.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so.
But episode 5, Darkest Hour, Wake Thy Power. We open with the Salem 7 looking for Agatha. Forgot about them.
Boy,
Mm,
tell me about it.
talk about creepy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I got a
Uh,
problem with them too, but continue.
okay. Uh, turns out they are the children of the original coven who she killed.
Yeah,
They are attacked by one of the Salem 7 and hit the skies on the broomsticks.
that was
The
dope.
road the road pulls them out of the sky and they come across the next house which has slumber party vibes. The trial timer starts and a Ouija board makes itself known.
Mm,
They go over the rules and get started. Agatha pretends to be Sharon, but then things get serious on the board. Agatha needs to be punished and ends up getting possessed. Her mother is the spirit in question and the one who's trying to kill her. Alice uses her power to get Agatha's mother out of her, and Agatha steals her power, killing her. The boy
R.I.P.
the boy yells Nicholas Scratch, which stops Agatha, her son's name. Agatha starts talking shit to him, and she says to him, "Oh, you looking just like your mother." And
Mm.
he's had enough
Mm.
of this bullshit. So he sinks Agatha into a mud pit. Then he sinks Jen and Lilia into a mud pit. And we see the HWIC crown.
Hmm.
All right. So this is when Agatha knows
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Thanks.
And so this is the first time we've seen the Salem 7 in like a little while.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we find out that they are the children of the original coven that Agatha killed. And I was like, "Oh, that tracks."
But
Yeah. I was like,
whoa. But then I was like, how did they know it was Agatha?
Um
what do you mean?
because Agatha had a history of doing this. And there's
Yeah,
you're right. It would be really difficult for word to get around. Oh,
yeah.
how they know? Well, I don't know if this is how they became the Salem 7, and I don't know how long they've been Well, because one thing I forgot, has the Salem 7 been hunting Agatha this whole time, or
I don't think they said.
Did Rio go say, "Hey, I know where your girl is"?
I don't think they said.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Because you have a point there. If the Salem 7 was formed for the sole purpose of killing Agatha, then that means they had to have known. And how the hell would they know? Like
Yeah, they
we're in like,
wasn't. No, was no seven. It's like what, the 1700s. Like nobody was
yeah,
around
we're
them
in
when
printing
Agatha did
press
that.
days, and yeah, like Agatha was in the woods alone. Like no one would have been able to like say anything about it. But
Yeah,
she was known as a wandering witch, and there, word could get around. There's not really a way to know. So I don't know. Yeah, if the Salem 7 just kind of exists, and then when Rio was like, "Hey, I know where she is, so
Yeah.
why don't you go ahead and go get her?" Or if the Salem 7 exists for the sole purpose of finding Agatha, and that's their whole like thing, which would be a little surprising, but who knows?
yeah. That was when I started kind of questioning the Salem 7. I ain't gonna lie.
And that
That
makes sense.
that one caught me up too much. I will say this is the episode I remember watching at nighttime, and then when they pulled the board out, I was like, "Yeah, I probably shouldn't watch this at nighttime." So that I just watched it the next day during the daytime. I was like, "I'm good."
I will say I really enjoyed the broomstick uh flying, and then when they went across the moon, that was a great shot.
Yeah,
Yep.
oh boy didn't know how to do it. I was like, "I get it. You wouldn't
Yeah,
necessarily know how to do it."
yeah, that was definitely like Harry Potter vibes. Um, but yeah, that was fun, and like you said, I never played Ouija, but I knew what it was. Like
I
I've
mean, I
seen
would
people
hope.
play it.
Yeah, I was like, wait. Oh, you're talking about like see people play it like on a movie and stuff?
Yeah, like I know people who played the game before, but like I've
Oh,
never
like
played
real
it.
life?
Yeah,
Oh, bro, you tripping.
I mean I never played it, but
Bro, I
I
don't know
know people
nobody
tried
who
it.
even touched that thing, even seen one in real life.
You in Tulsa, Tulsa
Yeah, I was
though.
gonna say, I don't know
Yeah.
if you
I'm good.
like.
I'm good with that one. I'm good with that one being a Tulsa thing. If I don't know nobody, I'm good with that one. That sounds crazy.
I'm sure that I'm sure that at work you do know somebody who's
Oh
done it. You
yeah,
just
I don't
don't
even want to
know
know.
that they've done it.
That's fine. They don't even got to tell me. I'm good
Okay.
because that sounds
Um,
wild. Spencer, you
well,
ever seen one in real life?
have I seen a Ouija board?
Yeah.
I Not as an adult. I don't know if I've seen one as a child. Like I don't. I know people who have like messed around with a Ouija board, and I'm
Oh
like,
man.
absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
good.
no
Even if I
thanks.
don't believe it, like, I'm not taking that chance. I'm good.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't need like I've no desire. Like it doesn't matter. Like I'm not doing
Yeah.
that. Like that's not fun to me.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like, yeah, let's go to a haunted house. Like, no, I'm good. That's not
Yeah,
fun.
I'm good. Like I don't need that.
That's
So
funny.
yeah. Um. Anyway, the Salem Seven show up, and so yeah, they get some broomsticks and get to going again. Great scene, and they are pulling in a lot of the tropes that are associated with witches, generally speaking, in this show. And in the end credit scene, they're showing a bunch of classic depictions of witches and all that.
Yeah,
So I like that they incorporated a lot of the lore that's associated with witchcraft generally in the show.
yeah, I agree.
Um, and I mean, even like I think they like maybe didn't do pointy hats, but and another thing that I thought was funny was that the witches in the show were discussing the lore itself and how society and the media have created a bunch of negative stereotypes and they've done all these things. And so I like that because that's a very realistic way of handling it
Yeah,
is
they did that
if
with the brooms.
yeah, like if you really are in this world and you see that you're being portrayed in a very specific way, you're going to be offended by it and you're going to have
Right.
feelings about it. You're going to have opinions. And so I'm glad that that was addressed because that's
Yeah.
how it goes.
Facts.
And yeah, yeah, with the brooms, they talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that
And
was good.
and the whole like brooms being associated with witches is like crazy because it's both it's misogynistic at its highest level because of the time period, but
Oh yeah.
like it's it's misogynistic because it's a broom and you know how men felt about women back then. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing outside the house? And so that's why brooms were associated, but also witches were known as being, everything that is the opposite of God. And so there was a lot of like opinions of lust. And because brooms are, hard sticks that they're riding on,
But
Ew.
I ain't never heard that theory, Spencer. That sounds crazy.
no, that's exactly like that's a part of the lore because
I did not know that.
the word that they use is phallic. But yeah, a part of the reason that it's broomsticks is A, like the domestic vibe, and then B, the, riding on hardwood.
That's wild. Yeah, I ain't never
Because,
heard that. I ain't never heard this. The first one I get, the second one is like, that's wild.
but again, like that's again in the way back, like that's one of the things associated with witches is like lust and like lesbian activity. And matter of fact, there were the witch trials were a crazy time, and one of the ways somebody could be accused of being a witch is if a man went limp and he was impotent. A witch did that. Like that's what they believed. They believed like, oh, your dick don't work. Oh, you must have been a witch.
Mm.
They did used to just blame everything on witches, so that
Yeah.
makes sense.
And there were also stories of like witches stealing dicks and like putting them on a tree for the devil or something. Like it was crazy what they came up with back then. But
That's funny.
yeah. So again, the involvement of them riding on brooms is crazy when like why that's involved.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, um I'm not sure why I know
But
that.
I will say, when they did use the Ouija board, that was kind of cool to see. Like, it kind of like exposed some things. Death,
Hmm.
the name of her son, of Agatha's son. Like, it was pretty cool. And then obviously Agatha's mom popped up.
Yeah. So I like that the Ouija board announced itself.
Oh yeah,
The Ouija board was like, it's me.
right.
It's me, bitches.
I
And
was thinking in my head too.
uh and so yeah, they read the rules. And then Agatha pretends to be Sharon, which was hilarious.
Yeah,
And then things no, it's like, no, we're really here to do some stuff.
Dude.
hmm
And Agatha's mom showing up was crazy.
Oh, dude, that was too creepy too. When she
yeah,
like took possession of her.
And so
yeah. When
Agatha,
she
you ain't
like,
got no friends.
Yeah. Yeah,
Your
she got the
mom don't fuck with
vest.
you?
Yeah, she was like, I should have killed you in the womb. Like
Yeah.
when I first saw you, I was like, damn.
Yeah, when I laid eyes on you, I knew. It's like, wow, that is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
But okay, that's where we are. And again, we this is a situation where there's a weird like gray area, like very gray, because Agatha's the main character and we're supposed to sympathize with her, but don't forget she's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And it's a situation where it's like, okay, do people not like her because she's a piece of shit, or is she a piece of shit because people don't like her?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the latter, especially after kind of truly seeing her origin story. Like a lot of stuff been said about her that hasn't been true the entire time.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
Yes.
true.
besides
And
the
that's the
whole
thing.
killing witches part, but like
And
the whole son part is
And
wasn't true.
Jordan, to your point, all of these rumors and theories about her and stuff not being true, that's how the Salem Seven heard about her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those same like rumor mill stories and the lore that's been created about her and like her name lives in infamy, all that stuff. Yeah, I'm sure the Salem Seven, and it could be a situation where like she maybe killed one person or like somebody was like, yeah, my friend went out in the middle of the woods with Agatha and never came back. And then when they find, their bodies, they're like, oh, Agatha did this. And it takes that
Right.
happening once before, people start saying stuff. And you know that like rumors will spin and people will start making up shit, be like, I heard she actually, you know, killed 20 women at the same time. And just people start making up shit. So
Yeah.
the fact that people are like, yeah, she gave up her baby for the Book of the Damned, I'm sure that people were like, she used to have a son, now she doesn't, but what she does have is the Book of the Damned. So obviously,
It's
Yeah.
true.
she
Yeah.
gave up that baby. And one of the most important factors about witches, and one of the reasons that they were so aggressively hunted, and the reason that people felt okay, like going against laws when it came to witches, was because witches were known as hurting children. Because we often see, not often, but like we see that witches, like in Hocus Pocus, we see that they are literally sucking the lives out of children to stay young.
Yeah.
We see Hansel and Gretel, like some kids wanted some candy, and a witch eats them. So women are supposed to be nurturing and are supposed to care for children, and so witches being the very opposite of that and being like harmful to children is why they were able to justify, no, we can just hang them
Yeah.
with like very little evidence because we have to protect the children.
Yeah. It was wild.
Set her on fire because if she's a witch, she'll live. And if she's not a witch, God will save her.
Yeah. Those was
That was,
wild times.
yeah. And don't let her
Wild
be
time.
black. We'll talk about being black here in a minute. Because don't worry, I have some things to say about it. But, um, her mom is there and is like, I should have killed you the moment I laid eyes on you. And everybody's kind of like, well, that's not good. And so Alice gets her powers, and Alice is able to purge Agatha's mother from her.
Protection witch.
But then Agatha goes ahead and hits Alice with the Shang Tsung,
Yeah.
steals her soul.
It's
Tragic.
tough.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Because I liked Alice.
Yeah, she's
Like
one of my
especially,
favorites.
like after 70s vibes in the house, I was like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I fucks with Alice. And the
Same.
fact that Alice like she purged Agatha's mother out of her, I was like, okay, let's go, Alice.
Yeah.
Finally got her
That was
powers
messed
back.
up.
She finally broke her generational curse. Alice is going to be able to make moves, and because again, she broke her generational curse and she got her powers back. So I was like, let's fucking go, Alice, just for her to die
On some BS too. Yeah.
on some BS. And
Yeah.
yeah, Agatha gonna be like, oh, I couldn't help it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right.
But
Well, looking at the whole thing now, we can't even blame we can't even blame Agatha now.
What?
It's all this wasn't Agatha's fault. It,
Yeah. Nah.
it was Billy.
Nah. Nah. Billy.
we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Wait. She did say she killed somebody.
No,
Okay.
we will talk about it
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get
because
through
yeah,
these.
we're going to cover that. Um, Billy yells Nicholas Scratch, and Agatha, stops, and then they get back to the road, and Agatha, like at this point, she knows, like for a fact, and she's like, "You are just like your mother. Now come, pet," and just talking that shit, and he's like, "I've had it, no," because now he has watched her kill Alice,
Right.
and of course he's like, "No, Alice didn't deserve that. Alice saved your life, and you repaid her by taking hers." Absolutely not.
Threw them all at the club.
All of them. And so, yeah, like he takes mental control of Lilia and Jen and has them throw Agatha in the pit. And
Hmm.
then he just kind of like pushes them in the pit also. And then we
Right.
see the crown on his head. And that's when, like, because there was speculation that he was Billy. But
Yeah.
that, like, when we see the crown, we're like, okay, there are no more questions.
Yeah, what a good reveal too of who his character is.
It really was comic accuracy too.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's how we knew.
Yeah.
And so now we move to episode 6, Familiar by Thy Side. We open with a flashback with William's bar mitzvah. At the party, he had his fortune told by Lilia, and she puts the sigil on him. The party is brought to a halt due to the Westview situation, and while in the car, William and his family end up crashing, and William seemingly dies before waking up and calling for Tommy. The family flags down an officer who ends up being Alice, and Billy is taken to the hospital. Upon waking up, after the accident, Billy finds himself with memory loss and telepathy. 3 years later, Billy explains his situation to his boyfriend, and they meet up with Ralph Boner to get more information about the Westview situation.
What a name.
What a name.
He tells them about Wanda's children and Agatha. Billy does some Googling and goes to Westview to find and release Agatha from the spell she is under. We then see the first episode from his perspective, and we are taken back to the Witch's Road. Agatha claws her way out of the mud and gives Billy a pep talk, which turns into a conversation about Billy's real purpose, finding Tommy. Okay. So we have ourselves a flashback episode here. Some people call this filler, but
Yeah, this one was not needed in my opinion.
I needed it.
What?
No, I needed
Yeah,
this one.
this is really good. Talking about.
No,
I
I didn't
needed
need
this
this
one.
one.
First of all, we got to see that he took the place of the
Well,
body and all that stuff.
that part. But I'm talking about the whole fact that we had to redo the whole first episode from Billy's point of view. I was like, I didn't
I
think that was
mean,
really needed.
I like that we did that.
I didn't. Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, I agree. The first part really important. That little part where he broke into the house, but it was cool that you got to see like literally got put into the closet by one person and then opened up and saved by a different person. You know what I mean?
I liked it because that's what really happened. Because Agatha's version of it was, made up and fabricated. So
Yeah.
we got to see like actually what happened,
Hmm.
and I like that we got to see what actually happened. But anyway, um, we're at William's bar mitzvah, not Billy, but William's bar mitzvah, and Lily is there telling fortunes, and she tells the fortune. She's like, something,
Something
something
off.
off, something
Yeah.
off. So she goes ahead and writes up a sigil and puts it on him, and then she immediately forgets. She's like, some kid left his jacket in here. I don't remember who it was, but
Yeah.
Which I didn't understand at that moment, but now looking back on, I was like, oh, I get it. Okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they say that whoever cast the sigil and whoever the sigil's on don't remember. And so
I forgot
that's
they even
why.
said that. I thought she forgot because of the whole traveling back and forth thing.
Which that's yeah, she'd be doing
The
that.
gaps. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't even think about that, but
Nah, yeah,
yeah,
I was saying I forgot about the whole casting schedule thing.
yeah, the sigil is why she didn't know. But then we see the Westview situation. Wanda is pulling it down. And I'm not exactly sure how that affects them. Like I don't know how they were involved with the Westview situation. Like were they
I
on the like work team or like I don't
I
because they
I
obviously
that
weren't
was
residents of Westview.
right. Yeah, I need to rewatch WandaVision. For that part, I was just like, I'm gonna just roll with this because I don't remember the details.
Yeah, because my assumption is the dad was like, the tent that Darcy and Monica were
Yeah.
in and Agent Wu, like I assume he was a part of that like unit. But
Mm,
because since he wasn't a resident of Westview, I don't know why that would have made him have to be like, all right, we gotta go. Unless
yeah.
they were like close to Westview and it coming down was like dangerous, but that doesn't seem like that was what was happening.
Right.
So I'm not 100% sure how those two things are related, but
I thought
oh, good.
I was gonna say I thought they were at the dance, right?
Hmm.
And I assumed the school was like pretty close to Westview because they kind of saw stuff going on, and so they were like, okay, we got something going on. Everybody needs to get home, and I feel like they saw it, the collapse of it.
They did.
That's why I thought they were there. They were basically on their way back home and just happened to go past Westview.
But I guess I didn't understand what okay. I guess the dome collapsing and that forcing an evacuation, I guess I didn't put that together. Or I didn't understand why those two things were related. Like I don't see why the dome coming down said, okay, everybody gotta go.
Probably because that's the first time I seen movement on it, like ever.
Yeah,
So
they
it's like
eventually.
this is probably not safe
Yeah.
right now.
Okay. Cool. So car crash and William dies.
Right.
And then he wakes up and starts calling for Tommy. Now, they don't explicitly say that Billy was like a wandering soul that happened to find a husk,
Right.
but we know now that that's what happened. But watching it, did y'all know that's what happened?
I did. I mean, to me, it made sense.
Yeah, it took a sec, but yeah, it started to flow together. It started to make sense.
Okay. Because I realized that's what happened when he like yelled for Tommy, but since they didn't say it, I was like, I don't know how clear that was.
Gotcha.
Or if you were supposed to just, gather it on your own. But then whenever he suddenly had telepathy,
Yeah, that also helped.
and yeah, like so there were signs. And this explained why, the kid version of Billy from WandaVision looks nothing like the actor who's him now,
Yeah.
because he's literally a different person. So because for all of the like, oh, it's Billy, it's like, is it? Now that
Right.
explains why, oh yeah, it absolutely is Billy.
Wait,
So okay.
so what I guess they kept saying that they were 10 years old in WandaVision, and
Hmm.
now this kid is what?
He was having his bar mitzvah, so I assume 13. Like
That's a man.
he
That's
found the body of a 13-year-old.
that's crazy trying to
Or
be like this kid is
William is
13.
13. Yeah. And then so William is 13 when the car accident happens, and then he's 16 today because the flashback said 3 years ago, I'm pretty sure.
Mm,
And
okay.
I think that um the dude told Agatha that she had been in here for 3 years.
Okay. That makes more sense. Because I was like, why is he this dude, boyfriend, whatever you want to call him? I was like, this ain't making sense. But okay.
Yeah,
So yeah.
Bar Vismia 13.
Yeah, makes
And
sense.
yeah, I was like, oh, he a tall 13-year-old, but whatever.
Power forward.
Yeah.
I was like, damn. Yeah, I was just like, what? Don't make no sense, but okay.
So, and just so that we know that it's all a circle, Lilia was the one who put the sigil on him, and Alice is the one who called or who got the ambulance there because she's a protection witch.
Hmm.
And so, she was a police officer, I guess, or yeah, I think she was a police officer. But yeah,
Yeah, she was.
yeah, she got him
Yep.
to the hospital. And he wakes up and he doesn't remember much, but he has telepathy and he is like finishing their sentences and like answering questions that they never asked out loud and all that.
Yeah.
Because and he it's interesting because he doesn't know these people, but he still kind of loves them as parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because these are strangers to Billy,
Right.
but Billy still recognizes them as his parents, and he's like, please don't fight. I
Yeah.
hate it when you got like. So that was interesting. Like, I didn't know if I didn't know what to do with that. Like, I didn't know if that was a situation where like telepathy. Um, I didn't know if he retained some of William or not.
I assumed he took all of William's memories and everything,
Okay.
Yeah.
and
'Cause
it,
he kept saying,
it kind of just got jumbled up with the wreck.
yeah, he's telling him not to worry and stuff. Um, so it sort of makes sense. Wait, the Quicksilver thing that threw me off? I was like, whoa, when they met up with him.
Oh, Ralph.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty funny.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that
that,
in a
that
minute.
was that was pretty funny. Yeah.
That was funny. So, 3 years later, Billy has a boyfriend now, and he's like, "Hey, this is the first time I felt normal," and he reads his mind, and they love each other and all that, and they're having an adorable moment, and then he kind of goes into like, "Hey, I'm into some weird shit, so I want you to know that before we, continue." And the boyfriend is like, okay, let's get weird. If that's what we're doing, that's what we're doing. So that's when they meet up with Ralph Boner. Oh, one thing that I wrote down in my notes is they were texting, and I'm pretty sure that the boyfriend sent Billy a black heart in a text. And that black heart keeps coming back around town.
Okay.
I didn't catch that. That's a, if that is so, that's a good catch because that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And so I was like, oh, you're the black heart, not Rio. So that's why it worked because you're the fifth one. Okay. And this is before we know that the road is bullshit. But
Right.
I was like, okay, Sharon being dead is okay because you're the black heart, you're the fifth one, you're a witch now. So okay. You're not a
Yeah.
familiar anymore. You full-fledged.
His theories, I like it.
Um, so they meet up with Ralph, and that was
That
just
was funny.
hilarious.
Yeah, bro.
I'm glad they brought him back. I'm glad Evan Peters got time.
Same, because he was cooking. Like
Yeah,
he was the perfect Reddit conspiracy theorist
Yeah, he
type of
was.
representation.
perfect.
Like, yeah,
Perfect. And the fact that
cover
he
up
lived
cameras.
through it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
like he lived through it, he experienced it. Yeah, like that, oh, so great. And so, yeah, they talked to him and he fills in the gaps. Like he's the one who's like, yeah, two sons, one was a speedster, one was a telepath, Billy
yep,
and Tommy. He's like, oh shit.
right,
Okay. This makes sense. And so Billy he gets on the Google and starts going.
yeah,
And, he finds out about Agatha and she's under a spell, obviously. And so then we see the first episode from his perspective. So not even from his perspective, but what actually happened.
hmm,
So, because when we saw it from her perspective, she was still under the spell. So, there was a bunch of, nonsense that wasn't real. And so, um, I thought it was funny because like whenever he got like hit by the car in her version, he was literally just tapped by the car.
oh
And
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, like all of the yeah, like him being super uncoordinated whenever he was running away. I was like, yep, like all of it was hilarious to me because her version of events and what actually happened were so just drastically different.
I thought it was gonna be. I low key was like not paying attention as well at first. It was like, oh, we're just running back through. But then there started being differences. I was like, oh, snap! Like, okay, it's
Yeah,
starting to make sense.
exactly. And one thing that I thought about and kind of wonder whenever Agatha does provoke him and, tells him that he is like before he puts her in the mud and the crown descends. I wonder if that was her trying to goat him into stealing his power the same way she's done to everyone else.
Hmm. Interesting.
That's a good point. Could be.
But, you know, obviously didn't work. Because he's able to use his powers through Jen and Lilia. So, yeah. But Agatha gets out of the mud and she and Billy talk, and it was kind of like a, hey, how'd you know? And she's like, I didn't know, but I had strong suspicions.
Yeah.
And so she essentially just figured it out. And, they have a conversation. And she says to him, um, she kind of gives him a pep talk of like, no, don't be ashamed of your power. No, you are powerful. Be that.
Yeah.
And
Stand on business, huh?
yeah, stand up. Yeah, that's what we're here to do. We're witches. And so he reveals the real reason that he wanted to get on the road. The real reason he wants to be on the road is to find Tommy.
Yeah.
And then we go to episode 7, Death's Hand in Mine. We open with Lilia in the sunken place. Agatha and Billy continue on the road before coming across a castle. Upon entering, they are dressed as the Wicked Witch of the West and Maleficent.
That was dope.
Again, whoever was on costume, whoever was on wardrobe, did this. Like they
Yeah.
excellent. Um, they spot tarot cards, and the clock begins. They find swords hanging from the ceiling. As the tarot cards are placed, swords begin to fall.
Hmm.
Agatha gets reckless, and a whole bunch of, the whole ceiling starts coming down. Meanwhile, Lilia and Jen are having a conversation when Lilia slips back into the past to her first lesson in divination. Lilia then explains to Jen that she is experiencing life out of order. Lilia and Jen then find themselves back with Agatha and Billy. After another journey through her history, Jen and Lilia hide from the Salem Seven, and then Lilia performs the tarot to complete the trial and realizes that Rio is Lady Death. Lilia has everyone escape, and she stays behind and gives her life to finish off the Salem Seven. We then see a young Lilia sit for her first lesson in divination.
Banger.
This episode was dope.
My favorite
Okay.
episode.
Agreed.
Banger. Absolute banger. Like everything. The reveals. I think focusing on what was our witch's name? Sorry.
Lilia.
Lilia. Yeah, it just tied everything together.
I will say, like Patty LuPone, I'm glad that's who they cast for it
Yeah.
because I was enjoying Patty LuPone
She got to
in
cook
this
in
one.
this episode.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
got to cook,
Yeah.
and she's kind of been, and we see like yeah, this was the episode we needed because all of her like random moments where she's just yelling shit for no reason. Like this
Yeah.
brings all that back around
Yeah,
town.
bro. At first I was like, man, who's this old senile
Yeah, like what are you
lady?
doing?
Like she need to go lay down somewhere. Like,
Yeah, because I didn't think that she was, I thought it was a situation where she was like conjuring up other people, not experiencing her life out of order.
yeah.
And so, yeah, like whenever we see that, I was like, oh,
Bro.
oh.
think how torturous it would be to experience your life out of order.
Oh yeah, it'd be terrible.
Awful.
Bro, like just flashback you're 14, then flashback you're 7, then like,
Yeah.
bro, bro, that'd be terrible.
Yeah, and Jen was kind of like, "How long have you been dealing?" And she was like, "Oh, it's been ongoing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
just this is just how it is."
And I like the fact that like when she was right, she told Jen, "Hey, all right, this is what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
This is the information I'm gonna give you. In a sec, I'm about to forget all this, so I need you to retain this." You know what I'm saying?
I would
yeah.
have forgot it. I'm like, you told me something, but I literally forgot what you told me. I
If
didn't write it
someone
down.
said, if someone said specifically like, "Hey, I need you to remember exactly what I'm going to say to you right now," yeah, you
Yeah,
shouldn't forget that.
No, I'm like,
yeah.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, Jordan, I'm not trusting you with that
Same.
information.
I'm like, let me, can you text it to me? Can
I'll be
you
like, hey,
write it
bro,
down?
you got a pen and paper because I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah, bro. I'll be at the store. My wife be like, get this. I'm like, you got to send it to me in text because I know I'm gonna forget it.
It's not good.
It's funny.
But yeah, whenever she had those moments of clarity, yeah, like she was locked in when she was locked
Yeah,
in. But yeah, then when she wasn't, it was like, oh, yikes.
right.
But anyway, um, she's in the sunken place, because she got taken into the mud, and Billy and Agatha continue on the road, and they see a castle, and yeah, again, they are the Wicked Witch of the, I want to say West, and because I think the Wicked Witch of the West is the green one.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Wicked
that's
Witch of
right.
the West and Maleficent, and honestly, his Maleficent was fire. Like both of them were good, but like, yeah, again, whoever's on wardrobe, yeah, get him some statues because they need them. And
Yeah,
this is a tarot situation. So I knew whenever I saw tarot cards, I was like, oh, Lily is gonna have to handle this one. Like,
yeah,
y'all don't know what the fuck's going on. Lily is gonna have to do this. I don't know how she's gonna get there to do it because she's in the sunken place, but that's what it's gonna have to be.
bro.
Yeah,
The fact that, bro, that's the one thing about this episode. It felt like everything, and kind of lays out the show. Everything had a purpose. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Even if it took a while to wrap it back around it. Well, this episode was perfect. Like her falling was like, oh, that's kind of okay, that's cool. And then it kind of wrapped back around. Everything wrapped back around. It was dope. Now I will say, if you're in that situation and swords are falling, are you trying to catch it? What you doing?
I'm trying to not be in the way when they fall.
I mean,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm
but
gonna
like,
probably put my back against the wall because they seemed like they was going like towards the middle of the floor. So I don't know, but they was also kind of spread out, kind of everywhere. I probably just stand
yeah,
where one already dropped. Honestly, you might be safe, right? Into
that's
the
a good
wall,
point.
it's to the roof started coming down, but
Yeah,
Now eventually, yeah,
the problem is it's the road, so nothing is safe.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you can't logic your way out of it. Like Alice saw a house, walk the opposite way, and saw the same house.
yeah, that's true.
true.
And I
Like so,
mean, Agatha tried to do the logical way with the tarot cards and it didn't work. Like,
yeah, she was like, if we just place all of them, we'll eventually be right. And it's like, then the whole roof started. She was like, okay, obviously that's not the move.
right, yeah,
My only complaint about this episode and a little bit about the show is the seven was wasted. Like I wanted to see what they were gonna do when they caught somebody, and they just basically chased them the entire time to do nothing.
I agree. I did think that the Salem. I knew that everybody who went on the road was not going to live. So
Right.
I did think the Salem Seven was going to get one of them.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna get somebody, but
Yeah,
they were
I
just
knew it.
kind of wasted.
I knew it wouldn't be Agatha. I knew it wouldn't be Billy, and I was pretty sure it wouldn't be Rio. But I thought the Salem Seven were going to get one of them.
hmm,
Yeah,
And so
no,
yeah, the fact
they
that
were kind of wasted.
yeah, like if yeah, if I had thought about it, I'd have been like, oh, it's going to be Alice because Alice is going to be protecting everyone else and then end up getting got.
So like, what happens if they get caught by the Salem Seven? Like, what's gonna happen?
We will never know.
They're
yeah.
just
We
gonna
will
jump
never know.
them? Like,
The world may never know. Because I
yeah,
assume the Salem Seven are witches. Based on how they like move and act and shit, like they ain't right. They ain't human. So this they something. Because the way
Yeah,
that there was again in that first episode when there was one and then there was seven, like they
yeah,
just
that was
yeah,
split. I was
creepy.
like, oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
creepy. I want to see them stomp somebody out. I want to see
wanted
them
to see
jump
them cook a
somebody.
little bit.
Yeah, but didn't get to see it. But it's fine because this was a really good episode.
and
Yeah.
I like the way they went out. I like that she sacrificed her way. But I agree with you. Like before that, if we could have got them to get a couple W's in the column, that might have helped.
Yeah.
Yeah, just one. I just needed to see what they would do.
They literally pulled a Jason, just popped out of nowhere, chasing them, disappeared, popped out of nowhere. Like, I'm good. I want to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, tarot cards, swords, and then Agatha starts just doing shit, and that's not working. And so Lily and Jen are having a conversation, and this is where we find out about Lilia slipping. And Jen has to keep saying to Lilia, like, you told me that. Like,
Right.
you're the reason I know that we need to look for a bookshelf. You're the reason I know that you have these slips. Like, you told me that. So Lilia basically, when she was right, Lilia said, here's the situation. Also, try to keep me on track
Yeah.
because I'm going to forget. I know it for a fact.
Right.
And so, yeah, she's experiencing her life out of order. We see her first divination lesson with, I think, her grandmother.
I
Hmm.
just I
Yeah.
just assumed it was some older lady. I didn't know if they were related or not.
Yeah, back in Italy. Um, and her grandma knows the deal. He was like, "Hey, where'd you go? Like,
Yeah. She
let's,
immediately was like, "You're visiting."
yeah, like you're not you. You're from another time."
I love when they do that. I forgot what other movie or show I've seen that is. But like somebody will try to flashback and be like, "Oh, that's not you." Like, let me. Oh, was it Endgame with Thor? Wait, or what? It wasn't
Yeah,
necessarily the
it was
same, but it
Thor's
was.
mother, but yes, it was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you're not my Thor.
exactly. But like, I'm gonna help you out for what
Yeah,
you're visiting
like
for.
what do you mean I'm not your Thor? A mother knows, and
Yeah,
also,
exactly,
and she says also I'm a witch, so
exactly, exactly. Yeah,
don't try to play me, boy.
right, right.
But yeah, so yes, that is another time when yeah, mother knows,
Yeah, exactly.
and so we see them have that conversation, and they are able to get to the castle with Agatha and Billy. And again, I was like, all right, like, give Lilia the chair. Like everybody move, get the fuck out the way.
Let
ISO.
her cook, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's an ISO. And so um she journeys back through history, and they are hiding from the Salem Seven because we see them back in like the little cave that they were in, and the Salem Seven is just looking for them.
yeah.
And then back in like today, I guess, we see Lilia perform the tarot. At first, she makes some mistakes, and then she's like, "Oh wait, no, I got it." And she
Mm.
figures it out. She also figures out that Rio is Lady Death. Now, I assume, but also it's the MCU, which is different, so we don't know. But I assume I'm saying Lady Death because I assume this is the same Lady Death that Thanos wanted in the comic books, but that Thanos has
I,
nothing to do with in the MCU.
I sure hope so, but as you said, it's the MCU.
Because
I don't.
they never said Lady Death. They just kept calling her the personification of death or just death.
I'm 100% sure they're the same person, but
Okay.
she's
I
one of the entities in the
yeah,
Marvel
Yeah.
universe. Yeah.
I was pretty sure, but I wasn't 100% sure, but I was like, yeah, that's got to be the same death.
Does so? I've never heard anyone. I haven't heard Death or Lady Death have a like human name. So I
Mhm.
don't know
No,
if
I
that's
haven't either.
a newer thing
I
or
think it's just
not.
for the. I think it's just for the show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
I do too.
so.
Because
Maybe
Lady
so.
Death usually she's like got a skull head and like she's
Yeah,
very obviously Lady Death.
right, exactly.
But yeah,
And I thought they did a great job, like with the effects of when they do reveal her in that form. I thought they did a great job with that.
yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah,
So Lilia is able to perform the tarot and the door opens. And so she's like, hey, y'all get out. I will take care of the Salem Seven. And Jen is shooketh because Jen and Lilia are friends at this point. Like,
yeah,
and along with the whole like being in this together, because there's nothing that will bond you like shared trauma. Like
yeah.
going through the trenches together. And those two have literally been in the trenches together because they were throwing shade in the early episodes.
Yeah, they were.
Jen was like, "Baby, you need an exfoliator. Like, look at you." So yeah, there was shade to be thrown early, but yeah, these two have grown to care about each other because they are a part of a coven.
Yep.
And so whenever Lilia closes the door, Jen is not okay. Jen is,
I felt
yeah,
that.
I felt that. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, Sashir, the
Yeah.
actress,
She was
okay.
cooking
Because
this whole show, really. But yeah.
Sashir is normally just comedian.
Gotcha.
So yeah, like she did some acting here, but again, comedians are some of the most phenomenal performers there
It's
are.
true. It's true.
So, yeah, she closes that door and then she turns the shit upside down and Mortal Kombat's the
That was fire.
yeah, they get the Mortal Kombat spikes.
Yeah.
And then Lilia goes ahead and like she knew her time was coming because again, she lives her life out of order. So she knew the game.
Yep.
And so she just accepts it, and then we see her kind of like flash back into her younger self for her first divination lesson with Granny. And that was actually a young Lilia because, Granny knew that it was her.
Yep. Exactly. I like that.
Agreed. Episode 8. Follow me, my friend, to glory at the end. We open with Alice being greeted by Rio, as she's dead now. Rio walks Alice into the Shadow Realm, and Rio shows up to tell Agatha that she wants Billy because he is an abomination. Agatha agrees to deliver Billy to Rio as long as she agrees to never see Agatha again. Billy and Jen find Agatha back on the road and they continue only to end up back at the starting point where they dropped off their shoes. Billy puts his shoes back on, and the three of them find themselves in the final trial. Jen finds out that it was Agatha who bound her, so she performs the unbinding spell and gets her powers back. Since she got what she needed from the road, she disappears. Agatha tells Billy that she will help him find Tommy's soul. Billy puts Tommy into a boy that drowned, and now Billy got what he needed from the road, so he disappears. Agatha then plants a dandelion, passes the trial, and gets off the road only to find Rio waiting for her. Agatha didn't hold up her end of the deal, so Rio's here to put her down. But Billy shows up right on time. He willingly gives his power to Agatha, and luckily for him, she doesn't take the last drop. Rio then offers a deal. One of you can go free, but one of you is coming with me. Agatha offers Billy to Rio, but after a quick mental guilt trip, Agatha kisses Rio, which kills her. Rio lets Billy go, and he drives home. Billy notices everything in his room matches what happened on the road, and then Agatha's laughing in the background.
Hmm.
One of the things I will say about Marvel shows is they often make the penultimate. I think that's what the second
Yeah.
to last. Yeah, they often make that episode feel like it could have been the last episode because this
Yeah, I
episode,
agree.
like the show, could have ended here.
Which I thought it did too.
Yeah,
Should have.
but yeah. So we see. We find out in the last episode of Dragon Ball Z that Rio is Lady Death. And so in this episode, they just want to make sure, yeah, like just in case y'all thought we were playing around, or just in case you didn't get it, like no, she is true, like she is death. I know that Hela said that whole goddess of death shit. Now, fuck all that.
Right.
This is actually death. And so Alice, gets up and is like, hey, and then yeah, Rio's like, baby, come with me.
Right.
And Alice is like, what do you mean? And she sees her body and is like, oh shit. So yeah, Alice, walks her to the Shadow Realm.
Hmm.
And
That felt like
then
a Disney disappearance type of
Bruh.
deal. I don't know.
Yeah, when
Mhm.
she like was that
Yeah.
she when she didn't she like cut the background or something?
Oh no, that hadn't
Oh,
happened yet. That didn't
Yeah,
happen.
Okay,
that'd be
okay.
it. But I know what you.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
we talk about that because
I
I
was
we're
like,
gonna
bro, that
talk
was
about
wild. I was like,
that.
that was wild.
No,
yeah,
we're gonna talk about that.
yeah,
So, Rio says to Agatha, "Hey, I'm gonna need Billy."
yeah.
And she uses the word abomination, which I thought was hilarious because I'm sure that we know Billy is gay. And the Bible very specifically condemns homosexuality as an abomination.
Hmm.
And the fact that in the show, a lesbian is saying that about a gay boy and specifically used the word abomination, I thought it was hilarious.
Bro, I didn't even put that together.
I thought, again, to me, hilarious that they chose the word abomination. And the reason he's an abomination is because he
Picked a
died
different.
and
Yeah,
cheated death.
yeah.
Because what it kind of the question is like, so he was never born, he was kind of just created.
It's
And
true.
so is that the abomination that he was not born, or the fact
I
that
think it's
he,
yeah,
I guess,
I
through
think it's the fact that he cheated death.
yeah. He didn't give Death what she want. You know what I mean? She expected her
Yeah.
number to go up, and then he went back
yeah,
and got another life. You know what I mean?
yeah. And so yeah, she's either way, yeah, Lady Death is not happy about it. And
Yeah,
Agatha, wheeling and dealing, being like, "Oh yeah, I'll give him to you." And Agatha knows who Rio is
yep.
because Agatha seems to know everything, just knows a
Hmm.
little bit of everything. And so Agatha says, "I don't ever need to see you again," because Agatha figures if I never see you again, that means I get to live forever.
Right.
Because yeah, Agatha's plan is to live forever, and
Hmm.
we find out why she wants to live forever later. But
Hmm.
um, Billy and Jen find her on the road, and they end up back at the starting point. And so they're like, "Oh shit, the road is a circle. We have to do it again." And Billy's like, "Hell no, we're not doing it again.
Yeah, bro, I
Yeah,
can't do that again.
We barely made it. No." And
yeah,
I took my shoes off out of respect for the road. Fuck the road.
yeah.
And he
Jennifer
puts his
said the
shoes
same
back
thing.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah, he puts his shoes back on, and then, oh no, we're in Cerebro. And the trial started.
Cerebro.
That's what the
Yeah.
room looked
No,
like to me.
no, I definitely did. But okay, is it that is after when old girl cut
Oh, no, let's
a
talk about that.
ribbon?
Yes. I'm so sorry. I almost skipped
No,
that.
yeah,
Whenever Rio says to Agatha, "Hey, that boy's an abomination. I'm gonna need him." And
yeah,
she's like, "Cool, I'll give him to you. Just, never see me again." Rio's like, "Okay." And
yeah.
then, yeah, she just takes a knife and she just cuts a hole into the set that is the
Bro, that
road.
was wild.
And
Bro,
when she did that, I paused it and I was like, "What the fuck
bro,
does
I
this
was thinking
mean?"
about it for the next 15 minutes or so.
I was too.
I was like, wait, so we didn't do special effects. We just did a cut in in the
Bro, I
background.
was staring so hard at the cut. I'm like, are they gonna put it back together? I was like, am I
Right.
gonna see the
Same. I thought it was gonna
background, bro?
seal. Yeah.
Yeah, bro, I was lost, right? And then I was looking, I was like, wait, is anybody else gonna try to walk back there? I was like,
Bro. But see,
Because that was my
I,
thought. I was like, so is Agatha gonna try to like, but Agatha don't want nothing to do with Rio. So Agatha's like, good, she's leaving. But like, do we get off the road? But yeah, I it was quite a scene because you kind of knew something was off about the road anyway.
man, yes.
But
Yes.
yeah, whenever she did that, I was like, oh, that's some Deadpool shit.
Yeah,
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 Which,
facts.
because Deadpool also loves Lady Death, like I thought that's what was being referenced.
Mm,
Because he breaks the fourth wall, and yeah, he in the comic book, he and her, they have their whole thing.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, like I thought this was a fourth wall situation, but it's like, no, actually, the road is bullshit because we've seen that we saw in the beginning of the show that Rio can kind of just cut through spells and magic, and because she's Lady Death, so she transcends all that. She don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
And so this was her just flexing, honestly,
yeah,
and being like,
right.
"Yeah, I know that you're trapped in this, but I'm not."
And also, does that mean she just cut a hole in Billy's wall?
I don't think
Like
so.
that was supposed to be Billy's room the whole time. She's just like, fuck that wallpaper.
Well, no, they were at Agatha's house.
Oh yeah, Agatha's house. Okay. No,
So
no,
yeah,
no.
Yeah,
I thought that was at Billy's house.
no,
that was Agatha's.
Billy drives home later,
Yeah,
and that's when
the
we see all the shit in his room that
Oh, gotcha.
is
Okay.
also on the road. So like all that stuff was just in his head. But yeah, no, this was actually all done in Agatha's basement.
yeah, yeah. Which
Yeah, that was wild.
it, I just remember seeing it, and I was just like, Marvel don't miss stuff like that. That's not a oh well, we go back. Oh my bad. Like you know what I mean? It was a reason, but I
Yeah,
just couldn't figure it out for the longest.
Yeah,
same.
my brain couldn't put it together.
Again,
Yeah,
I paused it.
bro, I thought it was like a Star versus the Forces. Like, what was that TV, the animated show where like she'll cut in the wall and it'll just, and
Uh,
I was just like, is this it or am I tripping? What is going on?
I just decided, okay, she and and now I feel dumb for
The
not,
same.
but
I was
yeah,
just like, bro, how did I not put that together? That
but yeah,
like that
like
was for a reason.
yeah, earlier in the show, we see her transcend spells and just like step in and out of them as she sees fit.
Facts. Yeah, they don't affect her. Yeah.
And I also wonder, whenever they did the summoning spell, did they actually summon her or did she just decide to show up?
I think she just decided to
I
pop
think
up,
she was
bro.
just like, now's a great time.
Yeah, that's my opportunity to make it not so obvious that I am
Yeah,
not one of them.
so yeah, their summoning spell didn't work.
Yeah,
Just bullshit. And yeah. But yeah, that was yeah. That moment with the yeah, when she cut that hole in the background, I was like, "Oh, she's the baddest." Like
yeah,
there's nothing they could do about her. She's too much. This is nothing for her.
yeah,
So, yeah. Thank you for bringing that back because I almost forgot. Yeah, we almost forgot to talk about that. We need to talk about that.
yeah. That was on my mind right there.
Because, yeah, again, when it happened, I paused it and I was like, I don't know what this
Yeah,
is.
I don't think my brain could comprehend what happened.
Yeah, it was like overload, like that emoji when your mind's blown. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
And it's like, it feels like it should be such a small thing. No, it was the biggest thing.
No, it was. It really was.
So, yeah. Um, cool. Now, they've put their shoes back on and they're taken into Cerebro. And they're talking, and Jen finds out that she was bound by Agatha. Now, I need to talk about this because this was this hit me in the chest. It hit me in the chest for a couple reasons, but mainly because Agatha is an opportunist, and I don't know if this was explicitly being you know, addressed, but we often see white women taking advantage of certain situations at the expense of women of color and more
Mhm.
specifically black women through history. One minor example is the fact that affirmative action impacts white women the most. Like there are a lot of people who are under the impression that a lot of black people and Hispanic people are getting hired through affirmative action. No, white women are who have gotten the most help from affirmative action, period.
Mhm.
White women have, used black women to get a lot done and not included them, like when it comes to women's suffrage. Whenever women were trying to get the right to vote, black women were pretty explicitly excluded from that. So we have seen a lot of times in history where white women have looked for progress for themselves and used the marginalization that comes with being a person of color to find success, but not include and, outright dismiss women of color. So, whenever Agatha had nonchalant at all when she said, "Were you around at this time? Like that was you? I thought it might have been you, but like I don't know. I did a lot of shit back then. It was whatever." So I don't necessarily think that Agatha is racist. I think that, those hands are rated E for everyone. But there was a disproportionate number of women of color who were hurt by Agatha, which tracks with the circumstances. And to see Jen to see Jen unbind herself from Agatha, to first of all find out that Agatha is the reason she got bound in the first place, and then to see Jen unbind herself was very powerful to me. And
Yeah,
I'm
that was
glad we
dope.
got to see it.
Great
Um,
performance also.
Yes, I we needed that. And I kind of loved that Agatha was just like, "Oh, that was just another Tuesday."
Yeah.
Because yeah, it was a really good scene. The fact that we saw white people literally taking a black woman's magic from her for just being black, and it was through a white man, but it was a white woman who did it, and seeing her be able to reclaim that power. The scene itself and then the acting I thought was phenomenal, and it hit me.
Yeah. That was powerful.
So, listener, I hope it hit you too.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if that's explicitly what they were going for. I'd like to give the writers the credit to say that that was in fact what they were going for.
Probably
Hmm.
did.
But yeah, there were people of color in the room, it seems like.
Yeah.
Because yeah, there are a lot of people who are looked at as heroes who are like Agatha as far as their treatment of people of color.
Agreed.
So, she performs the unbinding and she gets her powers back, and so she disappears. And it's like, oh, okay, she's gone because she got what she needed from the road.
Hmm.
And then Agatha, I guess, gets back in her hero bag because, she wasn't trying to help Jen.
But
And again, we don't know. We're never sure how much Agatha actually knows and what she's holding back and all that. So we don't know if Agatha knew this entire time that she bound Jen, because she goes to recruit Jen because she knows about Jen. But like, do y'all think Agatha knew that she bound Jen?
I don't think so.
Or
uh,
that was, again, since it was just another Tuesday, she forgot? Or do you think she very explicitly didn't mention it for her own convenience?
I don't, this as flippant as she is about other witches and stuff, I doubt she ever like purposely did it. It was just more like
Yeah,
you said, like very casually.
you just happen to be there.
Yeah, she didn't care about the consequences of others, so of her actions on others.
Okay. Because yeah, I don't know where I stand on that. Because it would be totally within character for Agatha to have done it, remembered it, and not mentioned it to Jen because she needs Jen for her own personal gain. But now that I think about it, I think Agatha really did forget, because if her whole plan was to steal the powers of the witches she tricked into singing the ballad, Jen didn't have powers for her to steal
Yeah, that's
because they were
true.
bound.
You're right.
So I think that I yeah, I'll say she probably actually just forgot. And yeah, it was just another Tuesday. But
Tuesday.
um Agatha kind of tells Billy like, "Hey, I will help you find Tommy's soul because that's what you're here to do." And she's grown to care about Billy a little bit. And so she kind of, shamans him into finding Tommy's soul. They find a boy who's drowning, who's just being treated like shit. And cool. Now he got what he wanted, which was finding Tommy. He is off the road. Then we see her open her little locket and plant a dandelion in the crack that, showed some dirt in Cerebro. She passes the trial. She gets off the road only to find that it is Rio ready for her. And Agatha didn't hold up her end of the deal. Rio's like, I told you I wanted the boy. And
Yep.
Agatha was like, what do you mean? I got him out off the road for it. Like, no, no, no. You were supposed to bring him to me. So I'm gonna need you. And I don't know if it was this episode or the next episode where we see her like Dia de los Muertos paint on her face. But like,
It was
yeah,
a little bit in this one.
yeah, but when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah. I
I
like that.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. And so,
So,
Rio just starts throwing her around, just giving her
mhm.
problems. And Billy shows up right on time, of course, and Billy says to her, hey, don't take all of the power.
Right.
And Billy, willingly gives her some of her power, and it starts feeling good to her.
Change
She starts
wardrobe
being,
and everything.
yeah, she starts, feeling herself. And, luckily for Billy, she doesn't Shang Tsung him all the way. She, leaves him with a little something.
I was
And
wondering if she was
I
gonna
was
just
too.
yeah, just strip him
and
clean of all this stuff. But
and I guess one of the things that I thought that whenever she stole powers, she actually stole the powers. So like she now has the power of that person. But
mm,
I guess she just steals it for herself. Like it's like she has like a little health bar,
yeah, that's what I took it as.
and she, just steals souls to sustain herself, but doesn't necessarily get the powers of the soul she takes.
Yeah, I agree.
So I get this is how I knew that. And I guess I should have known that because whenever she stole Alice's soul, she didn't have Alice's powers all of a sudden.
hmm
But also, since she stole Alice's soul, she should probably have something. But I guess she's used to stealing four people at a time. And so
Yeah,
maybe Alice didn't give her much. I don't know. I feel like she should have had some powers after stealing Alice, but it
maybe
didn't
after
feel
Alice,
like she
she's
did.
on a quarter tank.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Half tank,
Quarter
quarter
tank.
tank. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe stealing Alice's soul is just how she lived through what Lady Death was doing.
yeah,
But I guess Billy was powerful enough to like really like she got her clothes back, her
yeah.
hair's
She
in
on
she got the
full.
Beyonce wind. Like
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, she's on full tilt now. Uh
Right.
but cool. Now he gives her some power, they start fighting, and then Rio's like, you're not gonna beat me. So here's the deal. One of you can go free. One of you's coming with me. That's what it's gonna be.
hmm
So just know that. I don't care. You can decide amongst yourselves what's gonna happen. And Agatha's like, yeah, take him. I said I'd deliver him to you. Here he is. Take him right now. He's an abomination, remember? And then, he starts, getting in her head. Be like, I know you can hear me.
Right.
I know you can hear me. So I need you to hear me. And then Agatha kisses Rio. And, I'm sure lesbians rejoice. All of them were, happy to see that.
That's so wild. That sounds wild. You just said that.
Ridiculous. That's hilarious.
And then she dies and really dies. Like dies, body turns into flowers and shit. Like she becomes one with the earth,
Yeah,
or whatever. So she's dead.
yeah,
And Rio's like, and Billy, you can go. Like he just
yeah.
gets dismissed. And so he hops in the car and
Which is
uh,
wild.
yeah, because I was like, can't you fly? Like, didn't you fly here?
Bro, to hop in your car with your superhero outfit is wild.
Yeah. And weren't the neighbors just looking like,
Yeah,
oh,
the black
Yeah,
dude's looking. Yeah, you gotta like
bro.
move your cape out the way and everything like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. It's too much silly stuff you have to do to get in the car with a
Like you
yeah.
ain't got
superhero
no
outfit.
wallet. Like your wallet
Like,
wasn't on you. Your phone
have y'all
wasn't on you.
ever have y'all ever been in a Halloween costume and driven somewhere?
Right. Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
Like, where
like
do you put your
it's
keys at? Where was your
yeah, like
keys?
it's inconvenient. So
Like,
That is crazy.
yo.
He just turned around and walked to the car.
yeah, just got in a Prius and drove home.
Bloop, bloop. Yeah, no, that's crazy. That's wild.
And so yeah, he gets home. His parents are so happy to see him because he's been gone
Yeah,
for I guess a day.
yeah, technically,
Um,
yeah.
and yeah, he gets
You know
home.
what? I'm thinking about this more, bro. You just got on a big superhero battle. You just put your seatbelt on, like that. Like
Bro, cape all in the way. You got, I mean,
Again, you
that is
flew
crazy.
here.
Yeah, that is crazy. I'm
You flew
just thinking about
here,
it more
and
and
yeah,
more.
but whatever, it's fine.
And where the suit come from? That was the first thing I thought when the song came out. I was like, where you get the suit from?
Well, it's
But
magic.
yeah,
yeah, I was
I
gonna
was like
say, yeah,
superhero,
that.
yeah, magic
Because yeah, like
stuff.
where she get
Where
hers?
did
Like
Agatha? Yeah, where
Agatha,
did
yeah,
Agatha get hers?
Or
yeah,
at
the
least Agatha got a
witches.
power up. I don't even know this
Well, he did
dude.
too. Like he now kind of has control of his power because he. That's when the HWIC crown dropped. Is when he realized his powers and started
Oh,
Yeah,
using
well, he
okay.
them.
was. Yeah,
So yeah, like once you get powers, that comes with clothes.
Okay.
yeah.
All right. The car is crazy though. So, but okay.
No, I
Because yeah,
agree.
like Doctor Strange did it. Like you remember when he jumped off the balcony and then just like put his shit on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, like once your powers is on, like you just it just happens.
yeah.
So Billy gets to his room and starts looking around and starts seeing all of the road shit that they went through. And then we just hear Agatha laughing in the background. So that takes us to episode 9, Maiden Mother Crone. We open in 1750, where Agatha is visited by Lady Death as she is giving birth to her son, Nicholas. He is born, and Agatha spends his childhood giving witches the Shang Tsung treatment. They write the Witch's Road ballad, and eventually Lady Death comes to collect Nicholas in the night. Agatha then spends her years gathering covens and tricking them into opening the road just to give them the Shang Tsung treatment. But then Billy made the road a real thing, and he is visited by Agatha's Force Ghost. Billy is sad that his creation of the road ended in deaths, but Agatha lets him know, I would have killed them hoes anyway. So really, you came out net positive because you saved Jen's life.
It's true.
Billy then goes back to the house to banish Agatha, and she admits to being afraid to face Nicholas. Billy decides to let Agatha stay a Force Ghost, and he closes the door to the road, inscribes the names of the fallen into the floor, and they go to find Tommy.
Yeah.
So, in this last
Typical.
episode, yeah, good.
No, I was just gonna say typical MC. Bet one of the better finales of the MCU show, MCU television universe. However, the Pan Ultimate was better, as we've said.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
This episode gives us some context.
I agreed.
This is an
That's what,
episode. This is an episode where, like, if the pendulum is going and it's like Agatha ain't shit, Agatha's a good person. This really puts us in the Agatha's a good person, column to end it.
right. Yeah,
So, I mean, and we saw her sacrifice herself for Billy, as far as we know,
yeah.
but she was also very prepared to give him up.
True.
But in 1750, we see that Lady Death is there, and Agatha is like, "Please no, my
I need
baby."
more time.
And she's like, "I can give you a little bit. I can give
Yeah,
you a little bit of time, but just know I am coming for him.
yeah.
Know that." And
Yeah.
so she gives birth, and we see her find a random forest coven of witches, and she's like, "Hey, me and my baby, we would love your help." And she's like, "Oh, would you like to eat? We have some food. I am kind of hungry now that you say
Just
it. I
cut
am
them
I
off.
am a little hungry." And then
Yeah.
yeah, so then we see him. He's a nice young man, and they create the Witches Road ballad together. He kind of just starts writing it, and they do some refining, and we see them just kind of go into town and hustle. They out here hustling, getting
Yeah.
what they need. And we see that Nicholas is a good egg, because he's like, I know that we were supposed to kill some witches today, but like maybe tomorrow. I promise tomorrow I'm gonna
Couple coughs.
yeah, I'm gonna let you kill him. So yeah, we see that he is not he's kind of like, why do we kill these women? Don't we Aren't we the same? Don't we like them? And she's like, to survive. That's how it's gotta be. That's the
Yeah.
game. And I'm just here to play it. And so one of the things that I think we are led to is that Nicholas, again, he's a good boy and he doesn't want to kill witches. And so I think he's the only thing that was really stopping her from going in the way she eventually does.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree.
he was the reason she had a heart. He was the reason that she wasn't just out here like taking everybody. But then she does.
Yeah.
One of the questions that never gets answered is, who is his father? Not sure how much that matters, but we definitely, at least from what I remember, that is never even thought about being
Well, I
addressed.
mean, back then, women, they was just, slinging that thing around to get some money. So I assumed it was some random dude.
Whoa.
I mean, how do you think they was
That
making money
was
like that?
that was poorly worded, but
She's
factual.
slinging that thing to make some money.
I mean, that's
I
how they
mean,
made money.
prostitution is the world's oldest profession, but I didn't assume she was a prostitute.
I
Oh, I
didn't either.
did.
I didn't think we were going prostitute. I thought she just maybe ran into a dude she liked and had a night.
Yeah,
Nah,
like perhaps she fell in love with someone.
nah.
God forbid. She,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
but
crazy, Jordan. That's
maybe
a
it's
wow,
She was trying to make a living.
like, obviously
bro.
it's Mephisto's baby.
She hasn't
Like
mentioned
this.
a man throughout the entire series. However, we're
Yeah,
thinking
the only
she was a
romantic
prostitute.
involvement we've seen her is Death, who's a
Yeah,
woman. So,
This is before death. This is back in her old days,
okay.
her younger
yeah.
days.
She had a phase. Okay.
Yeah, she went through college.
She had a straight face.
Yeah.
And in the 1700s, yeah, that's there for some people. That's what it was. It was a straight face because you didn't really have the option. But
Right.
again, one of the qualities of witches, and one of the reasons that they were so aggressively hunted, is their lustful and homosexual behavior, as far as people knew. So there being lesbian activities in covens tracks,
Right.
because they're not held down by uh Christianity and its beliefs on what sexuality is and isn't.
Now, when death came for the boy, and she, like, told him to come over here, and then in the morning time,
Uh.
when she woke up, I thought like he actually got up and left. I didn't realize that was his soul.
Yeah.
I knew it was because we saw her give Alice that treatment.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. And I was so then when she woke up in the morning and like he wasn't moving, I was like, damn, that's tough.
I will say I didn't think physical. I didn't think physical. Well, I thought the physical version did get up and walk away too. Because in my heart, the black parent in me was like, "Boy, what did you doing?"
Yeah,
Like,
that's why I'm like, why you get up and go? Like
yeah,
what?
like random lady say, "Come with me," you just go. Like,
Yeah, I didn't realize that was his like soul that went. I was like, damn, that's rough.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I knew it was his soul again because we saw it with Alice earlier. Um and I watched I watched these episodes pretty close together. So yeah, whenever Alice was taken to the Shadow Realm, uh, I think that was actually the episode before this one. That's the only reason that I knew he didn't actually get up. Like I knew that was his soul because that's how that goes. Like we saw Alice's soul see her body and then go with death.
Mm.
But um, so yeah, they were out hustling, and then he starts coughing, so it's assumed that he is sick.
Yeah, yeah, I was like, oh yeah, he ain't gonna
And yeah,
make
like
it.
back in the 1700s,
Bro,
yeah,
you get a cough.
you get a cold,
Yeah.
you're done.
That's it, bro. The common cold. You
Yeah,
done.
yeah, the common cold, you get a flu, like you have seasonal allergies, it's over.
Yeah.
And
And
so
then they go on
Agatha,
the
yeah, like
extreme, taking all the witches and
yeah,
everything else.
Agatha is like, oh, there's nothing holding me back now. Like I have no conscience anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and live for me. So she starts just siphoning. And this is again where we got to see the wardrobe department flourish a little bit. We see her through several generations of, witch stealing. Now, I did notice that a lot of the witches she was
No, I knew it.
siphoning
I knew it. I knew
were
Sis was about to
women
do
of
this.
color.
I knew he was going to do
I
that.
ain't gonna lie, I noticed that. I did notice that too.
And
No.
I thought, okay, this is two things. Firstly, this is just diverse casting.
And then I was like, this might be the time.
But more than anything, it actually made sense. Because if we're talking about the time periods in question, really any time period, Agatha is looking for women who want freedom or who want power or who want to be in a better situation. Agatha is going to be finding people who are not like she's not going to find rich people. She's not going to
Right.
find people who are affluent. She's going to find people who are like in a bad situation or who have no money or who are trying to come up. Like those are the people that she's going to find. And that's going to include women of color. There were a couple, I don't know, there was one like of the flashbacks where one of the black women, I was like, oh, you are somebody looking for you right now. Like the slave catchers are out trying to find you right now.
Got the hounds out. That's crazy.
Yeah, like I was like the OG police are looking for you right now. And so with that being the case, again, I thought like, oh, we're just gonna get a diverse cast, to check boxes. But then I was like, actually, it makes sense because those would be among the women who would want to get on the road to escape or to come up or, to be in a better situation. And, she had a very convincing pitch. And, she did the whole, it's for all of us. But she did the white woman thing and was like, no, it's for me.
Yeah.
No disrespect to white women, although also kind of disrespect to white women. Um, so at first I was like, yes, let's check all the fucking boxes. But then I was like, no, I don't hate it. It makes sense
Yeah.
because yeah, and again, like through history, we see her in all kinds of fire outfits, stealing souls. And um then we find out that no, Billy is the one who made the road. Like the
Yeah.
road wasn't a real thing until it was. And Billy made it that way. And so Billy is visited by Agatha's Force Ghost. And Billy is, hurt because Billy was like, oh, it's my fault that these women are dead. I killed them with the road because the road wasn't real. It was my creation and they died on the road. That means I did it. That means it was me. And Agatha's like, well, don't give yourself too much credit
Right. I
because,
killed a couple of them.
yeah, best believe they were going to die. Like,
Right.
if you didn't do it, I was going to do it. So, like, we actually came out, you got to win because you saved a black lady. Because
True.
best believe I was gonna take her. So yeah, if you really think about it, like net positive, like you came out +1. Because yeah,
Yeah.
everybody in the room was gonna die if it had been up to me. Yeah, there wasn't gonna be no road. The road wasn't real. We weren't actually supposed to get on the road. I was supposed to trick them into attacking me. I was going to Shang Tsung them and then go about my way. So good on you, but yeah.
That was dope.
Um,
That
yeah,
reveal was dope at the end. Yeah.
yes. And so Billy goes back to the house and he starts speaking in Latin, and she's like, the fuck you doing? Stop it. Stop it
Just
right
trying to get up
now.
out of there. Yeah.
And we see like at first she's unbothered, but then like we see her like actually afraid.
Hmm.
And that's how you know, like, because yeah, when he said, I'm banishing you, she was like, no, stop. What? No, don't do that. What do you mean?
Right.
And that's when we find out that she was afraid to face Nicholas. What are your thoughts on that?
Face Nicholas for what? For the murders? Or I
I
didn't
think
get
she
that
was.
part.
I think she was just more afraid just to see that she continued life without him. That's something I
Mm,
think because like I mean, she really didn't do nothing unless she feels like she could have did more. But I'm like,
So she really didn't do nothing
yeah, I'm like, you didn't do anything.
to him.
yeah, that's my. I guess face him is more. I guess face him to, and he saw that she's murdered all these women, all these witches, and I guess she just doesn't want to have to look him in his eye and be ashamed of all that. Maybe.
Yeah.
And,
I think that's what I took it to mean. I think I took it to mean like she's afraid to face him because yeah, like once he died, she didn't live a better life. Like she went straight
South.
into
Yeah.
yeah, like she just gave up all morality and started living very selfishly. And again, we find out that the very specific reason she doesn't want to go with Rio is because she's afraid to face him. So that's why she spent all this time trying to live forever.
Yeah.
Like that's why she's put so much effort into longevity is because she very specifically doesn't want to face Nicholas. And I think it's a combination of both things. I think that she doesn't want to face him because of what she has become and all of the, the atrocities under her belt, but also she probably can't handle laying eyes on the only person she ever gave a fuck about that she was never able to save. Like there was nothing she could do.
Yeah.
Like she tried to do everything she could. She was happy at one point, and yeah, like the fact that there was nothing she could do and she lost the only person on earth that she gave any care about. Yeah, she just can't bear to face him along with all of the atrocities.
So I mean that sounds accurate.
So, um, and so after admitting that she's not able to face him, um, Billy's like, okay, I'll let you live or be a force ghost. I guess you're not living, but I
Right.
won't banish you. And then he closes the door to the road and he inscribes the name of the fallen into the floor. And I thought that that scene was also very powerful,
Yeah.
making sure that they are honored in some form for the
Not forgotten.
sacrifice they made to get here.
Right.
And then they go find Tommy. Now, I took this kind of as I mean, I know that all of this is comic book based, but this kind of felt like an homage to the comic book to me because my understanding of Agatha in the comic book is that she is very much like in an advisor role. Like is there whenever they need help, or she's there to teach, she's there to guide, like she's there to give assistance as needed in the comic book.
Even in the video game Midnight Suns, she is a ghost in that too. So she's always been a ghost, and like you said, always been advising someone.
And that's
Hmm.
like I didn't know whenever I've seen her in the comic books, which is like limited. She was just an old lady, but she was not a ghost. She was alive, but she was in like an advisor type role, like how people go to Dr. Fate whenever they need some shit. Like whenever
Hmm.
they need to know something, or whenever they have questions, whenever they need information, um, or whenever they need to know about something. Like that's kind of how I've always seen her. So, her being a ghost in Midnight Suns, that makes sense. But I hadn't seen her as a ghost, but I had seen her as an advisor, and so I thought that that's kind of the like where she was being placed now
Yeah.
was in they're kind of moving her toward her comic book role since this was such a deviation from that.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, I brought up earlier. So Jen, her character, which I after the show, I was just scrolling and I ran across this like a little like just a headline, which I thought was fake. I was like, there's no way. So I just did a little quick research. Apparently uh Jen's character, she is known as a character named ah shoot, I just lost it. Her character name is actually real name Jennifer Kell, of course. Anyway, it's not that important. She's the cousin of Ghost Rider of like
Yeah.
Johnny Blaze, which I didn't even know that. And so the article, the little thing I saw was like, "Oh, this is Marvel's backdoor way of bringing in Ghost Rider." So I was like, went to go look it up, and I was like, "Holy crap, this is like it's legit. Like that's her real character."
So go
So Johnny Blaze
goes
about
right.
to be light skinned? Like, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
he got to be black. He got to be black now.
And good. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I don't.
But yeah,
I
I
think
was
with
like,
Ghost Rider, I don't care. But yeah,
I was completely surprised by that.
yeah, I think I saw that headline too.
Also, wait, just because it's a cousin don't mean he gotta be black. Like, can be cousins.
I'm sorry. What?
What?
You said it's her cousin, right? Could be
You
cousins by
said
marriage. No, no, I mean you said he has to be black. Why can't they can be cousins by marriage? I don't know what they're. I mean,
okay.
he don't
In
have to
my
be
head
black.
they were blood cousins, but
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
and adoption is a thing, I guess, but it's
you usually don't point out someone's cousins with somebody if it's by marriage. Usually,
and if people are cousins and they're not related, they're probably black. Because how many cousins you got that you're not related to?
that's facts.
True.
My cousin knew.
Yeah, because
Uh,
I got a bunch like cousins of cousins that I'm not related to. They're still cousins.
yeah, and I honestly, if he is black, great. I wanted Johnny Blaze anyways in the MCU. I'm not a huge fan of the other one.
Oh, yeah, I
Uh,
agree.
so that'd be dope. And yeah, that'd be fire. That's the one thing about Marvel, like the cool thing when they all kind of this dark universe, because we all know the DC dark universe is pretty dope. Marvel has a pretty dope dark universe as well, and they kind of all overlap. A lot of these characters overlap.
So,
Now,
so oh,
okay,
did we finish everything?
that's all the episodes. Yeah,
So, what did y'all think now overall?
I thought it was a good show.
Yeah,
Um,
I
I'm
really
trying
enjoyed it
to
as well.
decide, did I like this show better than I liked WandaVision?
I did.
I think I did.
Ooh, that's a good question. We might have to put that out there for the folks. I think I enjoyed. Dang, that's a tough one actually. I probably enjoyed this. I think this is a better show. Did I enjoy the WandaVision better? Probably so, but I think this is a better show.
So
Beat for beat.
when we reviewed episode 1 and 2, we kind of rated it. I gave it a 7.5. Brandon gave it a 7.5. Spencer, you gave it a 7. I'm gonna start with Spencer. Spencer, has your opinion changed? Has your number changed?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna give this an 8.
Okay. Brandon, what do you think?
I think storytelling wise, the way it was pretty, some of these other MCU shows, they can kind of overcomplicate themselves, but this one pretty much wrapped up everything. So I'm gonna give it a solid 8.5.
And that is definitely along the same things I was thinking. As soon as I finished, I was like, oh, that was 8.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one
Okay.
a lot.
Um, I will say one of the things that uh shout out to Allison. Hopefully she listens to this episode. One of the things that she said to me that I thought was really interesting was when it came to Agatha's death, it was interesting that Lady Death has a thriving business. Like thousands of people die every day. And yet it was Agatha's death that she actually was like grieving. That Lady Death was
Mm,
grieving. And I thought, it could be because, they have, their love story.
right.
But yeah, it is interesting that like death is literally what she's here to do, and it was Agatha's death where she actually grieved. And there are a lot of reasons that could be. It could be because, they had love between each other. It could be because she thought this moment would never come, because Agatha's been, dodging and evading and trying to live forever under the circumstances. Um, there are a lot of things that could be going there, but yeah, the fact that she's not, short on deaths happening.
Yeah.
Anytime, like Brandon, when you said like there was one that was supposed to clock in and didn't,
Yeah.
we're not doing that no call, no show bullshit here.
That's facts. Yeah, we don't do that.
Yeah, so
I
yeah. Um,
like it. I will
yeah.
say it's very interesting with the Death character because obviously with her being named Death, like you said, you would think someone clocking in, like it wouldn't matter. Like, okay, that's just another body on the list. But she does, and like you said, also she has feelings. Like she's in love with Deadpool, had a relationship with Deadpool, had a relationship with Agatha, had a relationship in the comics with Thanos. So it makes sense that she sort of it's certain deaths that hit a little different for her versus
Mhm.
others.
And I think Aubrey Plaza was the perfect casting.
Perfect. But yeah, I agree.
Like
I agree with that.
perfect casting. And I think that I one of the things I kind of wonder for people that are not familiar with the MCU, how did they feel about it? Because I don't know. I imagine people are used to death being represented as a person.
Mm,
But since we know of the character Lady Death in the comic books, like we, had an understanding for that. But I wonder how people who aren't familiar with the MCU felt about Lady Death being like an actual physical person.
gotcha.
Like I'm
Yeah.
wondering if that hit anybody a certain kind of way or if that meant anything, because usually those things are based on one's own experience. And so I don't know how often death is a person or if that just happens all the time. Because like I think of the Grim Reaper most of the time,
Hmm.
but and then there are always gods and goddesses of death, but not actually like death, like
Legitimate.
actual
Yeah.
death.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I kind of wonder I mean, and not even this, I mean like non-comic book fans, because people who've only dealt with the MCU wouldn't know about Lady Death either.
That's true.
So for people who are unfamiliar with the comic books, I kind of wonder how uh death being how this representation of death hit them, because there are a lot of people who watched this just because they love witch things. And then there are a lot of people who watch this because they've been following the MCU. And then there are a lot of people who watch this because Catherine Hahn was in it or because Aubrey Plaza was in it. And then
Yeah.
there are some people who watch this, with an actual comic book base and, all of that. So, yeah, I kind of wonder, like, if you could let us know how the representation of death in this hit you and what your background is in that regard. That's something I'm kind of interested in.
But I agree. It was a really good casting for everybody, but especially her.
Everybody, yeah, everybody came to work. I think everybody did a great
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. So hopefully people let us know what they think. We
Yeah.
already told you where you can find us, so be sure and drop in there. Anything else before we get out of here?
That's
It's
it.
been a long episode. I think we should go ahead and call it.
Yeah. With that, we're never duplicated.
Always appreciate it.
And forever melanated.